Hello, hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. For courtroom decorum, please everyone rise. Thank you.
Hello.
Serial number 1.
Yes.
Recovery of erroneous refund. AR for the day, CA Yash Parmar. DR for the day, CA Parth Shah.
Our friend here announced the names, but in the court, nobody announces the name. So you are supposed to know your client. Yeah.
Lordships, my letter of authority.
Our request is that you please address as sir, not lordships. That will be too formal.
No, but to give them the flavor.
Yeah, so that they will substitute. My request is that you please address as sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Synopsis of the case. My lordships, sorry, I think I've got too much into the role. Sir, so the issue is of erroneous refund claimed. The period covered is financial year 17-18 and 18-19. So what had happened is that my appellant is a BPO service provider rendering customer support services, email, web-based support services, data entry, etc. to the group entities which are based outside India. They have been providing services to them on principal to principal basis and receiving money in foreign convertible exchange. And we were claiming, they were paying IGST on the export transactions and subsequently claiming refund of the IGST tax paid. Now, my lordships, after we filed the refund application, the refund applications were duly scrutinized and thereafter sanctioned through two different speaking orders which are dated 30th June 2018 and 30th June 2019. The refund was sanctioned to us and also the money was credited. Thereafter, the same learned Deputy Commissioner of State Tax, he issued two show cause notices alleging erroneous refund claimed by us on the ground that the services which we are providing are intermediary services.
Mr. Yash,
Yes.
would like to pause here for
Yes.
a moment. And as we understand from the brief of the case which you have made, is that the case of the case in the show cause notice made out is that you are an intermediary.
Show cause notice is
yes. Right. So if that be the case, may we understand from you, the bench would like to understand from you whether the appeal filed by you is maintainable before the GSTAT state bench. The facts of the case mentions that the appeal has been filed before the state bench. And the prime issue which is involved here is that whether you are an intermediary or not.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
if you have a look at section 109, subsection 5, if you have.
Yes.
I'll read out for your ease of reference. You may please read. It says that provided the cases in which any one of the issues involved relates to the place of supply shall be heard only by the principal bench.
Yes, my lord.
The principal bench is at Delhi.
Yes.
We are a state bench.
Correct.
The appeal has been filed at the state bench.
Correct.
And as you know, in section 13, there is a specific provision for intermediary.
Okay.
Okay.
My lordships.
Do you have section 13 of the IGST Act?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, would you like to read that?
My lordships, before going to that, can I just put one point?
Yeah, please.
My lordships, the appeal, the department, thereafter we had gone in appeal and department has dismissed the appeal on the grounds.
I'm sorry, Mr. Parth, Mr. Yash. The problem is, even before this tribunal can entertain your appeal, it has to be first admitted.
Okay.
That is, the very maintainability is in question in this appeal. Section 13 states that the place of supply for an intermediary will be the location of the intermediary. So there is a direct section in terms of section 13, which deals with the place of supply. So what happens with that, and that is what precisely the case of the department is, that if it is not, if he falls as an intermediary, then it will not be IGST. It will be SGST, CGST, whatever it is. So place of supply is the root of this matter. And we as a state bench are barred from even accepting the appeals which relates to place of supply. Because the section says that it has to be heard only. We do not even have a leeway or a scope to entertain this appeal. Probably I would also direct the registry in future to check the forms, the relevant forms, etc., where they mention what is the issue, what are the various issues involved in this appeal. I am 100% sure one of them would be whether there is a place of supply involved or not. Okay. So firstly, you have to satisfy this bench whether we should at all entertain your appeal or send it to the principal bench at Delhi.
Okay.
So you may read section 13 and then if you wish you may make a submission. I would like to have a counter from, though we have spoken on their behalf predominantly. But then yes, this is the job of the registry which should have been done and maybe it should have been flagged to you then and there.
Well, Lordships, the issue
but
is...
now that job devolves upon us.
Issue is primarily of refund, and the main reason why department had rejected our appeal, which we had filed before first appellate authority, was because we had made payment of pre-deposit through credit. That was the main reason why that particular appeal was rejected. And yeah.
So the fact of the case mentioned that it was not only rejected for pre-deposit. Fortunately for you, they have decided the merits of the matter also.
Yes.
Now fortunately for you, otherwise actually you should not have actually heard. Even the appellate authority was not bound to hear your appeal for lack of pre-deposit. In fact, he should not have passed any order on the merits, because if he passes an order on the merits of the matter, then where is the question of going into the pre-deposit aspect? So that apart, this question remains. You may read section 13 if you want.
Section?
Yeah. Section 13 of the IGST Act.
13.
Yeah. Before that, you may please read section 109.
109 of CGST.
Yeah. 109 of the CGST Act, which deals with the constitution of the appellate tribunal and the benches thereof. There is a subsection 5.
The principal bench and the state bench shall hear appeals against the orders passed by the appellate authority or the revisional authority, provided that the cases in which any one of the issues involved relates to place of supply shall be heard only by the principal bench. Provided further that the matters referred to in subsection 1 shall be examined or adjudicated only by the principal bench.
Yes, so that first proviso to subsection 5 gives us no scope even to admit the appeal in the state bench.
Okay, sure. So I agree, I should have filed the appeal before the principal bench.
Okay, then only for the purpose of today's courtroom, we would assume
that this is the principal bench.
To be the principal bench today, that only for this matter, no other matters. Others who are coming up in line queue definitely go through. If there is any question which deals with the place of supply aspect, this appeal is not maintainable before us today as the state bench.
So what my brother wants to point out is that this would be the first thing that you need to look into, which is the correct bench for your matter.
Yes.
So whether it is territorial jurisdiction, whether it is pecuniary jurisdiction, or it is this kind of a jurisdiction, that has to be the first point of consideration.
Sure.
Yeah. We can proceed on the merits now.
Directly we'll go to the merits. Facts are...
Yeah, I mean, you can proceed with your arguments.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Whatever facts you find relevant, you may place.
Okay. So my lordship, as I mentioned that we are exporting services, BPO services. We had filed refund application because we had paid IGST. Department initially sanctioned our refund. Thereafter, they have issued show cause notices saying that our services are intermediary services. We had gone in appeal before the first appellate authority, and we had made the pre-deposit payment through ITC. However, our first appeal was rejected on the grounds that the appeal itself is defective because pre-deposit was paid through ITC, and on merits also our appeal was dismissed. So therefore, my lordships, this appeal is before the bench. My lordships, our first ground of appeal is that the services which we are providing.
So whether you have paid pre-deposit before the tribunal or not?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
You have paid only differential 10% in cash, the main issue with the first appeal authority has pointed out that the appeal was defective. That has not been resolved. So technically, if you look at section 112, it requires 10% to be paid at the time of filing the second appeal, in addition to the 10% already paid. That paid has not been paid, it's not been accepted by the first appellate authority. So
I'm sorry, Learned here, that is not coming out from the bare facts stated in the appeal memo. What it comes out is that the appeal was rejected by the first appellate authority only on the ground that the pre-deposit was paid by way of from the electronic credit ledger and not from the electronic cash ledger. That was the precise issue in this case. It was not about the differential 10% or something like that.
Correct.
So let us be very spot on with the facts of the matter, because that determines the law. That will have the course carriage of law. If there are wavering facts, the law will develop.
So are you objecting to the
yes,
payment
so
by
I
credit?
have an objection on maintainability of this current appeal also. Because the primary issue has to be whether the learned commission appeal was correct in rejecting the appeal, treating it as a defective appeal or not. Only after that, if the appeal was maintainable, then the second course comes to tribunal. So for example, my lords, if you look at section 107, it says no appeal shall be filed unless a payment has been made in the manner. Now the commissioner appeal has disputed whether the payment is made or not. So unless it is established and held that the payment made through credit ledger was correct or not, the second appeal cannot lie here.
No, as the bench pointed out to you, the dispute was only whether the payment can be made by credit or by cash.
Yes.
So what is your argument on that?
My argument is, if the payment was held, that it was not validly made under section 107 appeal, then that appeal was not filed only, because if you see 1075, it says no appeal shall be filed unless you have made the payment.
But now that we have to decide that whether payment by credit was valid or not,
Yes.
is a question which this bench will have to decide
Right.
now.
Agreed, my lord.
So you please make your submissions on that.
Yes. So my
whether
lord,
you
my
agree or
simple
not.
submission is that even today, that 10% which has been paid through the electronic credit register is not permitted. This is a case of recovery of erroneous refund. If your lordships will refer to section 49 subsection 4, it specifically says that the balance available in electronic credit register shall be used only to make payment of output tax. A recovery of erroneous refund does not constitute output tax. Therefore, that payment is defective.
My lordships,
You may please make your submission.
yes. Should I counter his point right now?
Yes,
or?
Definitely,
yes.
definitely.
To counter his point, my lordships, there are various decisions from Bombay High Court, from Gujarat High Court, which I have also attached in my synopsis. My lordships, the courts have held that the pre-deposit can be paid through input tax credit. And my lordships, he is saying that because this is a case of erroneous refund and I should be paying by cash. But my lordship, this is, I am not repaying, I have not agreed to the fact that this is a erroneous refund, and I am not returning the erroneous refund. This is a payment of pre-deposit. It is a deposit which I am paying. This is the nature of section rule 86(4)(b) and the circular 172 talks about will apply only to full refund of erroneous tax, whereas this is only the pre-deposit which we have paid. It is deposit. This is
The
not
judgments, the Bombay High Court judgments that you are referring to, in which scenario are those? Are those
they are
in
not.
demand
They are
scenario?
not relating to the refund scenario. But overall, generally, they are saying that pre-deposit payment can be made through input tax.
Do you
credit.
have any precedent with you which says that erroneous refund is same as payment of output tax?
No, my lordships.
You may please make us go
But
through the,
again, I am saying, my lordships,
I would like to
this is
pause
not
you.
payment of.
I would like to pause you here for a moment. DR, you may please make us go through the bare provisions of the statute which bars payment of erroneous
Sure, my
refund
lords.
pre-deposit from the electronic credit ledger for the period of dispute.
Yeah, my lord, section 49(4), it specifically restricts the payment, the utilization, section 49 subsection 4. My lord, 49(4) says the amount available in the electronic credit ledger may be used for making any payment towards output tax under this Act or under the IGST Act in such manner as to be prescribed. They have specifically used the word output tax. And my lords, the term output tax is again defined under section 2 subsection 82. Output tax in relation to a taxable person means the tax chargeable under this act on taxable supply of goods or services or both, made by him or by his agent, but excludes tax payable under reverse charge mechanism also. So my lords, our submission is that when the dispute revolves around erroneous refund or even a demand for RCM, the pre-deposit has to be mandatorily made using electronic cash ledger balance only. You cannot use electronic credit ledger because section 49(4) specifically restricts it.
All right. We have noted your argument. You have anything to counter on this?
Yes, nothing different to counter, but my only submission is this is neither payment of output tax nor repayment of my refund. This is the only payment of deposit so that my appeal can be heard. Appeal can be.
So we have noted your arguments on maintainability. We'll proceed on merits. Yeah,
Sure.
we'll pronounce both the decisions.
Sure. My lordships, my first line of our first argument is that the services which we are providing are not intermediary services. The reasons being the transactions and the agreement which we have entered with our clients are on P2P basis, principal to principal basis. We are not acting as their agents. Secondly, my lordships, there is no facilitation of service between two parties which is happening in this particular case. Also, my lordships, whatever services we are providing on our own account. And most importantly, for intermediary services, there has to be two distinct supplies, and one of the supplies should be provided by the intermediary. In this particular case, those are not the facts of the case. And my lordships, exactly for the business which I am undertaking, the appellant is undertaking, there is a covered decision in the case of Punjab and Haryana High Court. In the case of Genpact India Private Limited, I have attached that
But
case.
can you explain your business model? You have never told us that actually.
Initially,
Sorry.
I had explained at the start, my lordships, that we are a BPO service provider, rendering customer support, email, web-based support, data entry, coordination with service providers, outbound calling and similar back offices functions for foreign group companies entirely on P2P basis. So we are a BPO service providers. Lordships, it's a covered matter in the case of Punjab and Haryana High Court. In the case of Genpact India Private Limited 2022 1 Sentex 226, I have attached the copy of decision at page number 8 of my synopsis. Lordships, the High Court has observed that for the similar business transaction has held that Genpact India was not an intermediary because it performed the main BPO services on its own account under a subcontract with no role in arranging or facilitating services between Genpact International and its customers. The court found that the contractual terms established a P2P relationship, not agency, and the definition of intermediary under GST is materially as same as the service tax regime. Accordingly, the refund of unutilized ITC for zero-rated export supply was allowed and restored in that particular case. So we would like to heavily place reliance on that particular decision. Well, Lordships, we would also like to place reliance on the CBIC circular number 159/15, which was issued by CBIC for clarifying various issues relating to intermediary services. Whereas, my lord, that is attached on page number 21 of my synopsis. My Lordships, illustration number 4 of that particular circular is bang on the right hand side, my lordships. Illustration number 4. It's exactly on this, whereby the same business model is discussed and it is clarified that BPO back offices services rendered on own account are not intermediary services and qualify as export of services. So these are our first grounds of appeal. Can I go ahead with the second ground?
I would like to ask you a small question here on the merits of the matter. With the passage of the time, the role of a person changes with the advancement of technology, with the kind of main supply which is being offered by the main service provider. So, for example, if you see a real estate consultant today, though whatever you pay you may loosely call it as a brokerage service, but he is not only involved in preparation of your sale deed, he does search for you under the Income Tax Act. He takes the time from the registrar. He does a lot of jobs which are not only legal, technical, but a lot of jobs which he does for you. Likewise, you have performed some services here. Okay. So, why is it not based on the definition of intermediary? We are not touched upon the definition of intermediary who arranges or facilitates. So here he may not be arranging, but why cannot be called as a facilitator of the main service?
Okay.
And one passage from your own board circular, para 3.3, I would like you to read the last 3 lines. The use of the expression arrange or facilitate in the definition of intermediary suggests a subsidiary role. So there is a role. It is not that an intermediary is not supposed to do anything for the intermediary. It must arrange or facilitate some other supply, which is the main supply, and does not himself provide the main supply. Here he is not providing the main supply. Thus the role of the intermediary is only supportive. So there is a support service, definitely. He can provide. So how would you like to distinguish
My
your
lordships,
service
yes,
from
my
the
lordships.
definition of intermediary service for this passage in para 3.3 of the board circular which you yourself have quoted before us?
Yes. My lordships, before going to 3.3 directly, if we go to para 3, there are 3.3, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 and 3.4 and 3.5. So we'll go to 3.1 before going to 3.3. 3.1 of the circular says that there should be a minimum of 3 parties.
There are 3 parties here, definitely.
There are no 3 parties, my lordships. It's just my clients and me. I am rendering services to my clients, so there are only 2 parties.
Definitely, the very case in the show cause notice is that this is being done by you on behalf of the your foreign entities.
We are working for them.
The group company, so they are the third parties. If at all, then they are involved here.
No, my lordships, I would like to disagree on this particular fact. There are no 3
You
parties.
may please make
Yes.
your submission.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yes,
yeah.
my lordship. The second 3.2 of the circular says that there should be 2 distinct supplies, my lordship. In this particular case, there are no 2 distinct supplies which are happening. There is no main service and ancillary service. The service which we are doing is the main service. There are no 2 distinct supplies. Coming to the third point, 3.3, which my lordships were mentioning about, intermediary service provider to have character of an agent, broker or any other similar person. My lordships, if you refer to the contract which you have entered with our customers, we are not acting as their brokers or agent. We are acting as principal to principal. The arrangement is of principal to principal and not of principal to agent. So even this condition is not satisfied. 3.4 says that the service should have been provided on own account. My lordships, whatever we are...
The other submissions we have gone through.
Okay.
Yeah.
My lordships,
You may please proceed.
Okay. Our second ground of appeal is that, my lordships, initially they sanctioned the refund. Then they issued the show cause notice saying that the refund was erroneous. My lordships, if they were not okay with the refund order which they had sanctioned, then they cannot reopen the assessment again under section 74. Refunds were sanctioned by a quasi-judicial speaking orders.
Where is the bar under the statute?
No, the ideal procedure should have
No,
been, they should have appealed.
We may
should have.
go ahead, yeah. We may go ahead because there is no bar, there is a Supreme Court judgment.
Okay,
Which
no
clearly
problem.
says that they
I'll
have
go to the
both
next.
options available with them.
It's a covered matter. There is a Supreme Court decision of Ganesh O's in their case. I am aware about.
You can just tell us the paras.
I-
You can
no,
just
no,
tell us
no.
the paras which cover your case of the High Court judgment which you are relying upon. Just tell the paragraphs to the bench. We'll mark the paragraphs.
About the Punjab and Haryana.
Yeah. And is there any other argument apart from Punjab and Haryana High Court and the circular?
One argument, actually 2, but if allow me just 2 minutes to speak, I'll complete both my arguments in 2 minutes. My lordships, one argument which I would like to make is that there is a clear violation of natural justice. The learned Deputy Commissioner of State Tax sanctioned the refund. Then after that he issued the show cause notice and then he adjudicated the show cause notice. So there is this clearly violates the doctrine of nemo judex in causa sua, which means that no one can be judged in his own cause. So this is one ground of one line of argument which we would like to make. And one more argument which we would like to make is that, my lordship, there is a lack of jurisdiction. The Deputy Commissioner
will directly come to you on that. His office becomes functus officio, and that is the end of the matter for that purpose. So you may make your next submission, please.
Next submission is that, my lordship, the learned Deputy Commissioner of State Tax does not have jurisdiction to issue a notice in IGST.
Noted.
This is a covered, there are covered.
Any other?
No, my lordships, I think.
My lords, I'll just quickly give my rebuttal. My lord, the first argument is the service is qualified as an intermediary service. The nature of activity which they are undertaking is brought out in para number 1 of the memo, on page number 1 only. It says the appellant is an exporter of service. They undertake, this is relevant, my lords, they undertake a host of activities for the clients of the group companies through a variety of means such as telephone, web, email, fax and so on. and what do you call, answering customer telephone calls. Means they are facilitating they are speaking with the customer directly. So there is a client and there's a client's customer. And I am somewhere facilitating the actual supply of service between the client and the client's customer.
What is the actual supply?
So it may be either a status update on the order, let's say if it's a client who's an airline.
That doesn't come out from the facts of the case.
But so if you read the next line, it says researching open issues. Let's say even if the client has raised any ticket with the customer, the entire facility, researching open issues, data entry, interfacing with other service providers, supporting the client.
The facts of the case prepared do not indicate any main supply having any connection with any of these services. You have to convince this bench what was the main supply, what is their role as an intermediary. Because facts are relevant, law will take its own course.
Right. My lord, the appeal filed by the department, by the FSA does not bring out those aspects.
You may please highlight.
Yeah. So my lords, if you look at the agreement which was originally part of the appeal memo, it does show that the appellant's clients, they are engaged in providing service to third parties.
Which service?
For example, there's one particular client who is an airline. They are providing air transportation services, my lords. And whenever a person who has purchased a ticket, he wants an update on the ticket, he wants to change the booking, he contacts the appellant's call center, which is this particular union consultancy services. And the entire exercise is done by this union consultancy services from here. So there's a contract for provision of service between the client and the passenger. And these people and union consultancy is facilitating that supply. It may be post-supply facilitation. If you read the definition of intermediary.
We take your submissions on record. Definitely, we note it down. And okay.
Sure. My lords, for that I will just read the intermediary definition once. It says it means a broker, an agent, or any other person. So agency is not a prerequisite for being an intermediary. Then comes by whatever name called, who arranges or facilitates. So it can either be an arrangement of supply between two or more persons or facilitating the supply. I am not sure how this cannot be called a facilitation of supply. There are two people who are contracted to supply service to another person, and I am merely facilitating. All the procedural aspects required for facilitating the supply between the two parties are being done by me. So it should be covered by intermediary.
And what about the circular that he cited? Circular binds you, right? You are for the department.
Yes, my
circular would be binding on you.
Yes. So my lords, if we can just take you through the circle point number 3, where my learned friend referred to the primary requirements.
Bench also referred to that. Yes. What do you
so it says minimum of 3 parties. There are 3 parties existent. There should be 2 distinct supply. There are 2 distinct supply. One between my customer and his end client, and second between me and my customer. So there are 2 distinct supplies present here. Intermediate service provided to have the character of an agent, broker, or any other similar person. So it does not require that I have to be an agent also. And does not include a person who supplies such goods or services on his own account. I am not supplying the ultimate service on my own account. This is not a case of subcontracting where I am doing the actual activity.
Right.
So it will get covered under the intermediate definition.
Yes. Thank you.
That's all.
Any other submission you want to make?
My lords, my dear friend referred to the restriction on issuing the show cause notice.
No,
but
that
my lords
will
are
take care of that.
That's all, my
submission.
lords.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Obliged, my lordship.
Obliged.
A couple of points here. Maybe when I asked you to tell the facts again, you got a little irritated. That's not how it should be. I mean, the bench can ask you to explain things any number of times they want to. That is one. Second, you missed a very.
That was intentional, my lordship.
That was and one.
A point for them to know that you cannot get irritated or you cannot show your emotions to the bench.
Yes.
Your face should not speak any emotion. You have to be neutral.
And second thing, you missed out on an important argument that there is a recent judgment of Gujarat High Court, I'm sure you must be aware, which says that if you don't challenge the refund sanctioning order, you can't issue a show cause notice. So there are contrary judgments also to that, but this is one line of argument which
there is one Supreme Court judgment, my lordship, of Ganesh Ores. Supreme Court decision, it's saying that that's why I didn't refer to that.
That is, I think, under customs, but under GST.
In GST, there is Ganesh Ores Supreme Court. I think he has attached in his synopsis.
But they are dismissed on not on merits. They said they kept the
because Gujarat Patanjali is a speaking order, and there is Supreme Court or Jammu High Court Saraswati Agro.
Okay.
So all of these judgments are being. This line of argument is opening up now, in erroneous refund cases. So thank you very much. Yeah, thanks.
It was very well done. I must appreciate, because this was the first case, and that the opening maintainability. That was the a newer dimension to it. So I'll just mention that head, and I'll come to the tail because limitation both of us did not argue. In fact,
No, that was one of
both
the arguments.
Both the
No, if you
sides,
refer my synopsis, there was an argument, but because of time, we had to skip.
Nay, that's all right. Even a mention is enough because you got to make the most out of what is the time which is allotted to you. There will be benches who may give you 15 minutes. There may be benches who may give you only 5 minutes. There may be benches at the early hearing stage which may give you only 1 minute. So you have to prioritize, and yes, limitation is also equally important. There would have been a fantastic argument from both the sides on limitation. I understand, but yes, a paucity of time, I definitely agree with you. But yes, do mention about
Yeah, let's move to the next one. Yeah.
Obliged.
Obliged.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, please.
You said the issue is a place of service. I think that is not the right approach. The issue is intermediary. If it is intermediary, then the place of service will apply. So the question is intermediary, not place of supply.
We agree with you, sir, because even under the service tax regime, some people used to argue that export of service involves taxability, and therefore all the appeals from CSTAT should directly go to the Supreme Court. But ultimately that argument was never accepted. So let us see how this proceeds. What brother indicated was that the primary issue involves determination of place of supply. We get your point that if it is an intermediary, then this question will arise. If it is not an intermediary, yeah. Yes, we take that point. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Then the whole objective is that how you are caught. How and what happens is that is the only time which you get. Maybe say after 10 years, you never know when your appeal will be heard. It's almost like from 17 to we are already into 25. You're going to file your appeal. If you file it today, we never know when it's going to be heard. And span of 1.5 minute on the maintainability aspect. If you are not able to at least convince the bench that I may at least get back, you are at least to hear me back. I have some convincing submissions pleading before you. Then the matter is over. It's postponed, it's urgent, and you never know when your matter will be next.
So
Thank
we have
you.
been told by the organizers to go a little fast now. So we will not be this detailed.
No, maybe
from
this was
next
the
session
first
onwards.
one,
Yes,
so-
yes.
Just to give a flavor of actually what happens in a courtroom. Order is out.
Next session.
Serial number 1, order reserved. Serial number 2, denial of works contract credit for construction of power plant captive use. I request the AR and DR to come here.
I think we should first congratulate the judge. They have done an excellent job. So that is typically a mood of a judge when he is not in mood and he is ready to slaughter people. So this is a perfect example of that. I think
This
he'll
is
be
this
more-
is our sadistic pleasure.
Sir,
that
I
we are
may-
getting. Daily we are on that side.
Kevin bhai, I may tell you, this was the milder version.
No, I truly appreciate
This
that.
was the most milder version of today's tribunal. You just land up in the tribunal and you will see. That's why I said.
I'm with you on it, sir. So the idea over here is that we are not doing any critical analysis, but it just gives an impression that how a judge behaves when I think there is something wrong. Okay, so I think we'll start with the case.
DR now. I'm the DR now. What's the synopsis of the case?
So, my lordship, the entire issue over here is purely legal. I'll just give you the facts of the case. The facts of the case is that I have a manufacturing unit and in a remote area, and for that manufacturing unit, I require constant electricity. So I have built a solar power plant, and I have taken an ITC on that solar power plant. Now the entire arrangement of solar power plant, electricity so generated coming to my unit is through a wheeling agreement with GEDC. So it's a Gujarat Electrical Distribution Company. So the facts goes this way, that we had constructed a solar power plant. We have taken an ITC on that solar power plant, and we had done a wheeling agreement with the with GEDC with a arrangement that the electricity so generated would be given as a rebate in our current electricity bill. So that was the structure which was being adopted. The reason being is that it is to, the electricity has to go through the transmission division, the transmission lines, and transmission lines are being taken care by GEDC. That's why we did an agreement with them. So the argument, while taking while doing the audits, an SCN was issued to us, wherein the revenue was of the view that the ITC is not allowed because the revenue stated that the wheeling agreement done with GEDC is amounting to a exempt supply, wherein the revenue was of the view that the entire electricity generated is being sold to GEDC, and they had and accordingly they stated that it's an exempt supply, and they demanded a reversal of ITC under section 17(1).
Supply of GST to whom? Supply of electricity to whom?
Electricity to GEDC. GEDC.
You are saying it's only for wheeling?
No, we are saying that it is for captive consumption.
Is your solar power plant in your factory premise?
No, it's slightly ahead of the factory premise.
It's very far ahead, my lordships. The plant is in Bhuj and their factory is in Vapi.
Yeah. So, my lordship, my whole point over here is that there are two issues to it. That the plant and the factory, the arrangement what we have done is a purely from the perspective of infrastructure arrangement, and there is no supply to it. It's a pure facilitation agreement which we have entered. So technically, if you look at it, that the supply, the amount of electricity so generated.
No, I've got the facts. What is the ground for rejection of ITC?
Ground is that they are stating that the entire supply, the electricity so transmitted from the solar power plant to GEDC is an exempt supply.
That is the only ground?
That's the only ground.
No, my lordships.
1 second, then you please clarify what are the issues then.
So one more, this is one argument which we have made, and there is one more argument to say that they are saying that it's a plant and machinery. We believe that solar power plant is not a plant and machinery.
All right.
So my lordship, I would like to defend on this. Of course, they have taken that in the show cause notice, but while coming in the order, they had, I don't know, if you look at the facts of the case, if the grounds raised in the order, in the order it was not raised. If you will look at the findings of the additional commissioner, the order, the electricity generated by the solar plant is, so they had treated that it's a plant, and thereafter which there was no whisper of the fact that they are disputing that it's a plant and machinery. So of course it was there in the show cause. We had defended, we have given a reply in the show cause, but while passing the order was solely focusing upon 17(1) exempt supply.
All right, so let me just summarize your arguments.
Yes.
The issue is denial of ITC on solar power plant. Your factory is at Vapi, solar power plant is in Bhuj. You have wheeled the electricity to GEDC, and now they are denying credit on two grounds. One, that you have supplied electricity for free to GEDC, therefore 17(2) will apply. And secondly, 17(5) will apply because it's it's not a plant and machinery.
My lordship, I would like to say that I would like to dispute on that fact because order never.
That's okay now. That is the case, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. You can start now.
My lordships, with regards to their first argument to say that they are not supplying electricity to GEDCL, I would like to say that they are actually supplying. Why? Because they are generating electricity from their solar power plant. They are, through the wheeling mechanism, they are transmitting that electricity to GEDCL. Now, my lordships, because it is not directly going to their factory, it is going to GEDCL. So when the electricity generated is going to GEDCL, there is actually transfer of ownership and control of goods, because the electricity is a goods, and that is being transferred. The control and ownership is transferred to GEDCL at that point in time. Once the electricity is injected into the grid, the ownership and control passes on to the grid operator, who is the GEDCL. My lordships, the appellant do not have any physical or legal control over the specific units of electricity which they are generating. Therefore, the initial injection constitutes the transfer of goods electricity, which is a supply as per our submissions. Also, the contract does not say that the...
What would, I may pause you, what would be the consideration for this supply?
I'm coming to that, my lordships. Also, the contract does not say that the units of electricity are supplied free of cost. The adjustments of units, rebate which they are getting, that is made in the invoice as a consideration to this particular supply. Because eventually they are getting rebate in their electricity invoice, so that becomes consideration to this supply.
If may interrupt you here, or maybe we would like to hear it from him, what is the arrangement between you and GEDC?
Sir, the electricity units so generated and transferred to GEDC, the specific units would be given as a rebate in our in our electricity bills.
So you mean to say the units you transfer, you get deduction of that much amount in your electricity bill as WAPI?
They are not transmitted to their factory. Those units are not transmitted to their factory.
So which is what we are trying to say, that it's a pure accounting and settlement mechanism.
Mr. Kevin, one
Yes.
more, if you could add to that. Is there any statutory compulsion or requirement
Yes,
to transfer the electricity to a particular grid?
Yes, my lordship. That there is, I'm coming to that.
Well, lordships, they are saying that...
Then, so if they do not transfer, what happens?
No, my lordships,
That-
there is
that's my
always a
question to you.
mechanism. They can,
Okay.
whatever electricity is generated in their factory, they can captively consume. There is no need to generate all the units. So like in many housing societies and all, when you have solar, this thing, you can directly consume those, this thing rather than transmitting it to the grid.
But as a matter of fact, he's saying there is some statutory compulsion.
So to counter his,
And,
they are saying that this willing and banking mechanism is merely an accounting and settlement mechanism is what my learned friend has taken the argument. But lordships would like to say that willing and banking mechanism is not merely an accounting; it is a commercial transaction which is governed by the Electricity Act.
What is my net gain in this entire gamut?
Sorry.
What is the net gain to the SSA in the entire?
No, my lordships, what?
There is-
I supply my electricity and I
That is
get a
which is
rebate.
exempt.
I get a rebate of the electricity which I supply.
Before
so what
going
is
to
the
that,
gain? What is the net gain to?
There is no net gain.
any- I
my
may
lordships,
like to hear it from
our line of argument is that when they are supplying the units of electricity to GDCL, that becomes an exempt supply. The moment that becomes an exempt supply, the underlying ITC of solar power plant which they have claimed is restricted under section 17.2.
The specific question of the bench to you is that how is this a supply? They are only
Because,
putting it in
because
the
the
grid.
units generated by their solar power plant are transferred to GEDCL.
So that they are getting as rebate, no?
That they are getting as rebate.
All
That,
right,
that
just
is
one
an accounting
question-
mechanism.
Just one question for you. Is there any scheme of Gujarat government which encourages such kind of thing?
Yes, there is.
What is
I
that?
mean, I'm right now not, it's not in, I will get back to you on that bench. I would.
All right.
Lordships, one more argument which I'd like to make is that the captive consumption, which my learned friend is repeatedly saying, captive consumption, captive consumption. But my lordships, captive consumptions require direct and immediate use of whatever is being generated. In this particular case, there is no direct and immediate use of electricity. It is being sent somewhere, something else is being received. They don't even know what they have generated, what they are getting. So there is no direct.
No, I would like to counter on that. It is not that way. My lordship,
Let us maintain
allow-
some
हाँ.
discipline. We can't do it
Okay, I
together.
get it.
You first complete, then we'll hear him now. You first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, my lordship, here the clear our contention is very clear that it is not a supply.
No, see, we have understood you. Anything
Yeah.
more you want to add? Any precedents in your favor?
Yeah, there is an AAR by the Karnataka authority. It's a direct AAR. It is covering exactly the same case what we are telling, but it's an AAR. We would like to rely on that AAR.
My
Can you,
lordships,
sir,
what are
can
the
you rely on an AR?
We cannot.
What-
I'm relying on the arguments of the AAR. Taken in the AAR.
All right. And on the second point, what are your submissions on 17.5, which they say it's a immovable property? Is the second argument, right? That
No,
power
to
plant-
my understanding, that argument is not an argument because it has been dropped by the order of the. It has been dropped in the OIO itself.
No,
There
so
is no.
what we understood from the opening remarks of the learned AR is that they are disputing that fact. You want
No,
to stick to this line of
I-
argument, or you want to make submissions on merits also?
So, on the merits, I would like to say that there is no substance which is present. So, just a second, sir. I would like to make on the. So to our understanding, as per the definition of plant and machinery, it categorically, the solar power plant categorically is included under the explanation of the term plant and machinery. There is no possible argument which excludes, the exclusion of plant and machinery is on account of 3 clauses, that is land and building, civil structure and telecommunication towers. But my lordship, to my understanding, solar power plant is neither fitting in either of the 3 conditions. So to that extent, and the machinery and the equipment which is being installed is purely used for the production of the output service. The electricity so generated from there is being used in our plant through a wheeling agreement, and that is being, and so the whole purpose of developing an electric power, solar power plant is to support our manufacturing operations.
No, his case seems to be that captive consumption has to be consumed immediately, and in your case, your goods will not even be identifiable. So the electricity generated by you and the electricity coming at your factory will not be the same.
No, sir, no. So it is being measured through units, and whatever units are being generated are being given as a rebate in my bill.
Right, right, understood. Sir.
My lordships, with regards to his argument that it's a plant and machinery, he mentioned that it's solar power plant is explicitly mentioned in the definition of plant and machinery. My lordships, plant and machinery is defined in explanation to section 17.6. Solar power plant word is nowhere there, first of all.
No, I'm.
And as he...
One second, sir, you can't object to everything he says.
Lordships, as he rightly pointed out, there are 3 exclusions to the definition of plant and machinery. The first exclusion is civil structures, second exclusion is foundations, and the third exclusion is support structures. Right. My lordships, the solar power plant necessarily requires RCC foundations, mounting structures, land leveling, civil supports. So all this is clearly a civil structure. Solar power plant cannot be just fixed on the land. You need to have some base, some civil structure needs to be, prepared, and then solar power plant is mounted on that. So in that case, solar power plant is definitely, civil structure is out of the definition of, excluded from the definition of plant and machinery, and therefore it will not be a plant and machinery, my lordships. And as you rightly mentioned, he was saying that there is a direct nexus. There is no direct nexus. They are not even aware about what electricity they have generated and what they have received. So my lordships, there is no direct nexus to what is generated and what has been consumed.
Only that we have come across some judgments which suggest
my lordships,
that
advanced rulings
Gujarat,
cannot be...
Gujarat High Court, adult products.
Not this. There are some judgments...
Can you share a decision, a copy of decision?
Yeah,
What proposition is this judgment for?
I just don't have it. I'll give it to you.
What does that decision say, my friend?
This clearly says that the captive generation of electricity is allowed.
Okay,
Gujarat
but
High Court.
Gujarat Atul products.
Okay.
But my lordships, as I mentioned, there is no captive consumption in their case.
But we have come across some judgments of high courts which say that solar plant is not an immovable property. Do you have any submission on those?
No, my lordships, there are some advanced rulings to say solar power plant is not a plant and machinery, but I would not like to rely on those advanced rulings.
No, we came across a high court judgment as far as I remember. He has not argued that, but yes.
I am not aware about my lordships.
All right.
I would like to add to it, just small, the explanation which you mentioned. If you read it, means apparatus, equipment, machinery fixed to earth by foundation or structural support.
Yes.
So these 2 portions.
Yes.
So long as
but
it
then
is
my
a
lordships,
foundation, so long as it is a foundation, okay, or it's a structural support, so that the machinery is well supported, remains grounded to earth, it doesn't vibrate. To that extent, they have carved out an exception. Yes, other than that, definitely, there are 3 exclusions to which we agree, but we would like to have your submission on the part which has been specifically included by the legislature based upon the history in the erstwhile regime, where this was a bone of contention.
Right. Well, lordships, inclusion part is okay, but when we read ahead this particular definition, it then again specifically excludes the civil structures.
No, those exclusions are naturally, which are not included above. It cannot, same thing cannot be included and excluded.
We have understood the arguments, yeah. We'll close it for orders. Thank you. Only a
Thank
couple of
you.
observations that you can't counter to every statement he says.
No, I get it.
You need to wait for your turn. I'm sure you did it on purpose, but yes.
Oblige, my lordships.
Obliged.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Serial number 3, denial of ITC on account of mismatch of 2B versus 3B from financial year 17-18 to financial year 23-24. Over to AR and DR.
My lords, we have filed 2 miscellaneous applications in this case. So one is for substitution of respondent. By error while filing, we mentioned commissioner appeal, so we request that a change may be effected. My lords, my lords, the second application is for production of additional evidences, my lords. What has happened is in this case, it's a case of mismatch.
We may first hear the case and then
Sure.
we may hear whatever additional evidence
Sure, my lords.
which could not be produced by you
Yeah.
before the lower forum. First we'll hear your
Certainly.
case.
My lords,
Please go ahead.
the primary issue in this case is for financial year 2019-20 to financial year 23-24, and issue revolves around the denial of ITC or a demand of ITC due to mismatch between GSTR 3B and GSTR 2A. My lords, what has happened is during the audit, at the audit stage under section 65, they identified some cases where we have claimed excess ITC and the demands were proposed. We have identified specific suppliers, transactions which are not appearing in our 2A. And based on that identification and supported by circular 183/15 of 2022, we obtained certificates from our vendors wherever possible and requested the officers to allow the relief which has been mandated therein.
In my view, all this is not featuring in the facts of the case.
Yes, my lord,
If
it's a
I
part of my
mistake not-
synopsis.
No. If I mistake not, these do not
Yes,
feature
it's
in
not
the
part
facts
of-
of the case.
Because,
Okay.
because my lords, if I had gone straight by the fact, then I could not have argued anything. Yeah. So that's why, my lords, we are producing this evidence. My lords, evidences were submitted before the adjudicating authority, appellate authority. At that time, they did not consider any of the evidence and they have just confirmed it in a mechanical manner. My lords, I have submitted the certificates.
These certificates for which year?
Certificates are for 1920 to 23-24, my lords, all the 4 years. Because, my
And
lords,
what does those certificates state? And
Yes,
that is the additional evidence which you want to
No.
place on record today, because that do not feature in the facts of this case.
my lords, if you may please refer my synopsis.
The synopsis is perfectly fine,
Yeah. So,
but that comes as an additional evidence only.
right. My lords, what has happened is, against a demand of 2.17 crores, some certificates were submitted at the time of adjudication, saying that, okay,
What do the certificates state?
the certificates confirm as required by 183/15 that the suppliers have paid the tax, but due to an error in filing GSTR1, they were either reported under an incorrect GSTN or they have mentioned it as B2C small supply. So the supplies are not reflected in my GSTR2A. At both the stages, I have given certificates.
The circular covers how much period?
The circular covers period till 31st December 2021. But my lords, for
Our case is right up to 20.
it's called both period, yes.
Yeah.
So for the second period, I have a different argument, which I will come to it.
But I may pause here for a moment and would like to hear, sir, from you, your counter on the certificates which are purported to be produced by him today, or stated by him to be produced before the bench today. So they do not feature in the facts of the case, so we are not aware of it. What certificates?
So, I have briefly gone through the certificates, and in few cases, we have found that the certificate says that the tax has been paid by a 3B. It does not mention in which period the tax was paid in 3B.
So the query from the bench is that are you comfortable or are you fine with this being taken on record?
Yes, sir.
You don't want to object to that?
No.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. So,
I know.
so my lords, for the period up to December 2020.
But you may kindly complete your submissions on the certificates. Though from your perspective, we take on record that there has been no objection from the learned DR. We may definitely take the stand which the bench would like to take.
Yeah.
You may please make a counter submission on the certificates which is producing for 2-3 years.
So, from 1920 to 23-24, he said he has submitted the certificates. So,
20 to 21.
no, up to 20 to 21.
Yes, even for subsequent, but there's a different argument I am placing.
He has
different
submitted
argument.
for subsequent period also, so I am not arguing right now that.
Only for the certificate parts. You may make your
Only
counter
for the
submission
certificate parts.
so that we can complete it. This.
So only for the certificates part, the part 1 was, in few of the certificates it is observed that the relevant period in which the tax has been paid under 3B is not mentioned in the certificate. So we are not sure as to in which period the tax was been paid. And on the second part, in some cases if you see the circular states that above 5 lakh it should be CA certificate. In few of the cases we have observed CA certificates are not, that party has themselves self-certified this thing.
Do the certificates bear the evidence?
Sorry?
Do the certificates bear the requisite evidence of payment? Or
Yeah,
are they
those
only
in few
certificates?
cases it bears. In few cases it bears as to which particular month 3B they have made the payment, but we are not able to cross-check it whether they have paid on that
Okay.
3B or not, because it's certificates we have
Okay,
received.
you may please move on.
So, my lords, my only submission is that substantial certificates were there before the adjudicating authority, appellate authority, but they have not considered them. So, to that extent, now at this point we cannot examine the validity. If it is to be done, the matter may be sent back for that point, to that extent for re-verification, because they have not considered anything. There is no comment on the adjudicating authority's order or even the appellate authority's order.
That portion you may leave it to us.
Yes.
If you would
that's my
like to
request is.
examine or you would like to
Sure.
send it back, please
My
go
lords,
ahead.
the second point which is there is the certificate submitted for difference during 22-23 and 23-24, when the dispute, whether circular does not apply to that period. The circular had a sunset clause of 31st December 2021. My lords, in this case what has happened is there are two specific suppliers who have been identified, and they have filed a GSTR1 showing my wrong GST. Instead of my Maharashtra GST, which is the dispute here, they have just committed an error of submitting it, mentioning it at a different state GSTI. So during the appeal stage itself, I have submitted a CA certificate confirming that that registration has not claimed the ITC, and therefore the ITC should be allowed at this case. And my lords, I agree with your lordship that there is no provision in the law. But your lordship would be aware, recently Supreme Court had also held that if there are any genuine errors, they should be permitted to be rectified in embedded technologies. So my lords, we request that the same analogy should be applied to this case, because it's a genuine case involving my party, my own separate registration. Therefore, it's our plea that following that guidelines, our ITC should be allowed.
If I can interrupt you, I mean, it would be better if you can state the law first, because this 2A 3B has been very dynamic.
Yes.
So for the benefit of the bench, you may want to refer to the provisions very quickly, but.
Sure, my lord. So the dispute right now we are talking about is from 1st January 2022. My lords, during this.
It's from 17, right?
Yes, but my lords, for the other period I am submitting more on, I am relying on certificates. I am saying I have submitted all the certificates, so I am not challenging.
No, but what is the law at that point in time?
Sure.
Was there a requirement for matching 2A and 3B?
I'll go come to that direct, obviously, my lords. So my lords, when GST was introduced, there was a provision for matching followed by a GSTR1 filed by supplier. Recipient has to accept or reject the transaction, and then the ITC
So
claim was made.
please refer the periods also, that what
Yeah.
was the relevant law for what period of time.
Sure. So this was applicable from 1st July 2017 till 31st December 2021, my lords. The requirement of the entire process, then the law underwent substantial change. They have done away with the matching process, which was formally traded in section 38 and section 39, the matching process. And a clause AA was inserted to section 16.2 to say that, okay, for claiming ITC itself, the primary condition is that it should be there in GSTR 2B. Up to 31st December 2021, there was no condition in section 16 which said that, okay, that you can claim ITC only if it is matched in GSTR 2A. They have given a mechanism at that point of time that you have to follow this matching process for claiming ITC in section 38, but it was never operationalized.
So you don't want to adopt this argument and want to stick to the certificates, or you want
Yes,
to
my
take this
lords.
argument also?
No, I don't want to adopt that arguments right now. We have pressed on that in the appeal memo, but we believe that since substantial amount certificates we are submitting for the other period, I don't want to press on that right now.
Yeah, but Mr. Parth, you are referring to actually sections 42, Rule 69, then subsequently 43A, which was enacted but never notified.
No, notified.
Right. But if you see the whole architecture as it was designed right from 2017, it was to match the credits or tax till the credits from the seller's end to the buyer's end. GSTR1 was always available, 2A was always available, and they had been functioning, and maybe that is the reason this is the offshoot, that there is a show cause notice. So even if the some provisions in the statute were not operational, but 1, 2A, which has got the backing of the other provisions of the statute, were always present. So what is your submission there? Because the difference flows from there.
Sure.
It doesn't require the operation or enactment of any other provision, it seems.
My lords, the claim of ITC is governed only by section 16. So 16.2 does not require me to ensure the matching has to be done. The subsequent matching which was initially proposed, it was a procedural mechanism and not a substantial requirement, I would say. Once I become entitled to credit under section 16, then that entitlement cannot be denied merely because of a procedural requirement.
It would be very, very difficult to say that these many sections were procedural in nature. We take your submissions on record.
Yeah, but my lords,
But then definitely there is a law which says that something which goes with the object of the enactment may definitely be followed by the courts.
So my lords, we have many decisions from high courts, and I will refer to them in my synopsis also. Primarily, we are relying on.
The only direct judgment I could remember is that of Suncraft, which reached the Supreme Court.
Suncraft Energy, yes.
The recent one which you are referring to is not a GST.
No,
one.
I'm not referring to Shanti Kiran, my lords.
Yeah.
I'm referring to Kerala High Court.
Right, that's a High Court decision, so it has
yes.
not been settled by Supreme Court as yet.
Yes.
Yes, Supreme Court is yet to test the all the submissions and all the other aspects
Yes.
stated by you.
Just one small point, my lords. On limitation, I would like to highlight here. This is a notice under section
Please.
74. The show cause notice alleged suppression of facts, but the entire aspect of 3B to a mismatch, if there was one, was known to the department through my GSTR 3B, through my GSTR 9 file table 8, and was available on the GST portal itself when you download the tax liability and comparison report. I have not failed to disclose anything which was required to be disclosed. The department very well knew all the facts, and therefore suppression is not invocable. 74.
Noted. You may please make your submission.
So my lordships, 2-3 things. First, regarding to the certificates, what I understand is that post 1st January 22 also, he has tried to submit some certificates, and basis that he is, my learned AR is trying to say that he will be eligible to take the credit. So my humble submission is that post 1st of January 2022, section 16 itself, this particular clause was introduced, 2AA, for this matching thing. Prior to that, sir, as your learned lordship already mentioned, there is a GST system in place for which, though directly may not be there, but the intention behind it, was that the flow of the credit and that should be matching at every point of time. So for the investigation stage, my learned AR did not mention that point. During the investigation stage, in fact, there are cases where it says that the investigation should be first carried out at the supplier's end, and then only the recipient should be this thing. Sir, in our case, we have already written to the relevant jurisdictional officers to identify whether these suppliers were existent or not. And in few cases, we have received the report that those suppliers were not existing into the place. So at the end of the day, my lordship, I would like to place on record that there was a tax default. And since the supplier were not existent, hence the period prior to this also, there was this thing that requirement to have the matching concept. And my lordship,
it do not come out from both the sides as to what exactly were the reasons for the mismatch. Well, that it would have been relevant, but be that as it may be. Okay. If you read para 4.1 of the case study, order in original para 4.1, it seems the principal thirst of the department is that the tax actually is not paid to the government. So that 4.1, which seems to suggest that you are attempting to invoke section 16.2c straight away. The case is not that of section 16.2AA predominantly. So that's a little difficult because you cannot move beyond your case. If predominantly the case is section 16.2AA and we are all engaging into investigation, tax paid or not paid, for which actually there is no factual information available.
My lordship, 16.2AA was there.
Okay. Our endeavor was just to highlight
last
that,
point,
that you may not be able to move, you cannot improve what is not there, or you cannot improve upon the principal case which is made out by the department in the adjudication order.
And the last point on the limitation, my learned here said that since department was completely aware, so my lordship, simultaneously the appellant was also completely aware that in 2A there is 100 rupees getting reflected and they have taken the credit of 300 rupees. So it's a clear-cut case of fraud, my lordship.
But my lord, the allegation is suppression and not fraud.
Right.
Thank you.
Well taken, well taken.
Only two suggestions. Whenever you make any miscellaneous application, just mention the rule number if possible.
Okay.
So like CSTAT procedure rules we know by heart, so we can tell the rules. GST I have not so far remembering them. So we have to mention the name of the rule. And if you want to include any evidence, additional evidence like this, then in most of the cases they will remand it back. So this has to be done a bit strategically. Whether if the bench is in your favor, they have given you some favorable orders. Otherwise, on the same issue, then might as well argue on merits and not press on this additional evidence. This has to be, it has to be strategized properly, considering the bench. Yes.
Noted.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
my
much.
lord.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Serial number 4, ITC on non-genuine taxable persons.
Yeah, we are breaking now, I believe. Yes. How many? 15 minutes?
Maybe we can continue or take a break. Okay, we can take a
15 minutes. We reassemble by 4:20.
Sure. High tea is available.
Just set up.
Before we begin, our friend Ruchita has an announcement to make. So over to Ruchita.
Thank you, Chintan. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ruchita Chauhan, Managing Committee Member, Vikasa WIRC. We are delighted to inform you all that we are having a national conference of CA students on 5th and 6th of December at Yogi Sabhagraha Dadar. So this year, we are having extraordinary guests lined up like CA JK Shah sir, Swami Gyan Vatsal ji, CA Khezoma Anajwala sir, Vijay Kedia sir, and many more eminent guests who will be inspiring and guiding young professionals. This conference also includes a grand cultural evening, which will be a perfect blend of learning, celebration, and networking. So every CA member present here, I request each one of you to encourage your students, articles, and peers to attend and participate in this national conference. Your one recommendation can give them motivation and exposure, which can truly transform their future. So let's be a reason that a student takes steps to shape their future. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now we will resume the session. Serial number 4, Assessee versus CGST Department.
My lord, so this is, would you like? Would like to provide you with the letter of authority along with one of the affidavits. I will explain it during the course of the proceedings and also the judgment which I am intending to rely upon. My lord, this is a case where...
Before you begin, as a practice, we don't give the letter of authority to the bench.
Okay,
So
right.
it is
The
either
court
filed
master.
with the, no, it is either filed at the time of filing of the appeal or filed before the matter with the registry, or you give it to the court master on the morning of the hearing.
Right.
So you don't tender it across the bar.
Apologies.
So that also does not happen. You don't
Though
have to
not
give-
the letter of authority, to him I have given the affidavit and the decision that I am relying upon.
Those were her submissions.
Yeah. So basically the case is relying on one of the investigations of Messrs. X Limited. There was an investigation carried out on Messrs. X Limited under section 67 of the CGST Act, and based on the statements being recorded, it was X Limited's being one of the assessees who is master holder of the policy, and policy is being issued by Messrs. Z Limited, who is our appellant. So Messrs. Z Limited was issuing the policies, and one of the master policies was issued to Messrs. X Limited. Messrs. X Limited, during the proceedings of the investigation, has mentioned that though they were not providing the actual advertising services, however, they have issued an invoice to Y Limited. Now, Messrs. Y Limited has in turn
Sorry,
placed
it's a little confusing. Who are you appearing for?
Messrs. Z Limited, who is the insurance company.
Insurance company.
Yes,
And
and
what
it
is
is
the case?
the crux of the case is that ITC has been denied to the appellant since the other party, Y Limited, who has raised invoice on us. It is mentioned, or rather it is stated that we have not received the actual goods or services. It is only a fake invoicing case, and therefore ITC to Z Limited, being an insurance company, is denied.
All right. So just a small issue for our consideration today is that you are an insurance company, you received services from certain advertising agencies, and the department claims that those advertising agencies were not in existence and you have not received any service.
Yes, only catch
That
one
is the
small,
issue?
yes, only one small catch is, here I am the Z Limited, the appellant is the third party in the transaction. So based on
Who is
the
Z? You are.
Z Limited is the appellant.
All right. So please refer to him as appellant.
Okay.
Sorry, my lord, can you allow me to brief the case because there's some disconnect in the
I
case,
will
if
explain.
my learned friend allows.
I will explain in 2 minutes. So
Yeah, please proceed.
yes. So basically there are 3 persons in the chain: X Limited, Y Limited and Z Limited. Z Limited is the appellant of the case. Based on the investigation carried on X Limited, it has been mentioned that they are not providing services but issuing fake invoices to Y Limited. And then Y Limited, then the department has contested that Y Limited is then issuing fake invoice on Z Limited, and then Z Limited is taking the credit of it. That is the case.
So your invoices on which credit is sought to be denied to you are of Y Limited,
Yes,
not of X.
not of X.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. What is your submission?
So our submission, my lord, is firstly on the technical ground that if you will see para number 12 to 15 of the submissions, page number 3 and page number 17 of the entire submissions.
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. So in those cases, if you will see that firstly, while passing the order, so basically the assessee while filing the appeal before the first appellate authority has produced that the invoices were matching in 2A. The invoices were also given, the copies of invoices were also given, and also the payments made to the supplier has also been provided. Along with that, certain invoices wherein the expenditure was done by Y Limited was also provided to state that actually the services were provided by Y Limited to us.
So, but what are the services which are under dispute?
Advertising services. It is an insurance company. Z Limited is an insurance company, and there are around 6 types of services advertising services which are being provided by Y Limited to us. If you will see para number, give me a minute's time, my lord. Para number 6, we have mentioned that mainly 6 activities are there. The web banner services, hoarding, road shows, video hosting on website, in training and conference, or also the email marketing. There are 6 services being provided to appellant.
You have entered into contracts?
Yes, we have also, yes, and we have also provided the copies of agreement.
And these are advertising services?
These are advertising services.
Do you have the clippings, photographs, etc. of the advertisements?
Yes, so my lord, if you will see in the tribunal submissions while filing the appeal, we have provided detailed factual submissions. Earlier, at the stage of the order in appeal, first appellate authority, we had only provided the intermediary documents. And however, recently, while filing the appeal before the tribunal yourself, we have already provided detailed factual evidences, which will include everything like photographs and also videos. Also the list of customers, the emails, etc. All factual evidences are now put forth before yourself.
We have understood your submission. Just one question to you. Do you have any dispute with regard to the facts of the matter?
Yeah, I would like to clarify a bit because there is a background to the facts. That
No, why we are putting you this question is because what your learned friend is arguing is that she has received some evidence recently by way of which she will be able to substantiate that they have actually received the service.
Correct.
From what we have understood, your only case is that they have not received any service till they have taken the ITC.
Correct.
If that evidence they have now and which was not considered earlier, then why the matter should not be remanded back?
This is what my submission is, my lord. One of my submissions, that as per rule 112, if there is a new evidence at all, this matter cannot be taken, it has to be remanded back. Because this was not produced before at the time of adjudication officer and also at the time of commissioner appeals.
Can you read 112?
Yeah. So, my lord, if you...
Just 1 second. Before you make good your submission, you refer to section 112. Please refer to that once again. I mean, from the statute.
Can I read it, my lord?
Yeah, please.
The appellant shall not be allowed to produce before the appellate authority or the tribunal any evidence, whether oral or documentary, other than the evidence produced by him during the course of proceedings before the adjudication authority, or as the case may be appellate authority, except in 4 cases. First, the adjudicating authority, the appellant authority has been refused to admit this evidence which ought to have been admitted, or where the appellant was prevented by sufficient cause from producing the evidence which he was called upon to produce by the adjudicating authority, or as the case may be, appellate authority. Third scenario, where the appellant was prevented by a sufficient cause from producing before the adjudicating authority, or as the case may, appellant authority. Fourth case is where the adjudication authority or the appellant authority has made
understood.
Yeah.
So are you objecting taking these documents on record, or you are fine with taking these documents?
I am objecting for both cases, my lord. First is that these evidences which are being produced, first of all, it's upon the bench whether to be considered or not.
No, we want your argument on that. Obviously, it is up to us.
So this is my one of the argument, and I'm also arguing on the merits of the case, where I actually have the reasons that why the documentation which they have submitted now are not sufficient enough to claim that services have been provided of advertising.
No, so we don't have the benefit of the appellate order as of now to evaluate whether the evidences that she is producing are sufficient
My
or not.
lord, if you
so
allow me for a
we won't
minute.
like to get into that aspect at this stage. If she is able to satisfy us, and if you don't object to the fact that these documents can be taken on record, then we would like to remand it. If you have any objection on taking these documents on record, please let us know.
Yes, I have the option. So, my lord, if you can allow me, I would also like to summarize the case and just give the background of the case, and then give my three submissions.
Yeah, before you make your submissions, you cited Rule 112.
Yeah.
That does not totally debar us. There are exceptions to it.
Right.
Number one.
Right.
Number two is you may read section 111. That gives us ample powers to summon, to have inspection,
Correct.
production of documents,
Yes, madam.
evidence on affidavits,
Yes, madam.
all
Yes,
the
madam.
powers which are within the realms of a civil court.
Yes, my lord.
So therefore, we have inherent, otherwise also we have inherent powers.
Yes, madam.
There is statutory provision also which is available, and Rule 112 also does not totally debar. So you may
Yes, my lord. So
consider
that's
also
what I said. That
before you make your final submission.
Correct. So that's what I said. It's before the bench.
And before that,
Yeah,
keeping the appellant, we would like her to complete her submission first.
Sure.
Thank you.
Allow me for 2 minutes, my lord. There were other two grounds, factual positions, which I would like to highlight. If you will see para number 12 to 15, which earlier I was referring to, in those paragraphs, it is clearly mentioned that though the few documentary evidences were provided on the record, the personal hearing was not granted. Though, if you will see the para number 15 purely, the personal hearing was not granted at the time of Commission of Appeals, the first appellate authority, and therefore the additional evidences were not provided at that time. If there would have been a case where the first appellate authority would have asked for additional proofs, we would have provided so. And therefore, also alongside, since these documentary evidences were not sufficient to gather such a humongous data from all the relevant places, it was a difficult task, and therefore also we have taken time to provide the additional evidences.
Which provision provides for granting of a personal hearing?
Granting of personal hearing, section 75 itself says that the order cannot be filed. Section 75(4), my lord, we have provided, wherein it says that order in appeal cannot be issued if the opportunity of being heard is not provided to us.
Right. Sir, what is your answer to that? She is saying that you did not give her a personal hearing, which is in violation of section 75(4), and that's why she did not have an opportunity to produce the evidences which she is producing now earlier.
My lord,
so in our view, without the inherent power which my brother pointed out, even we find there is a sufficient cause, which is covered in the exception of the rule which you read. There is a sufficient cause which prevented her from producing these evidences before the lower authority.
My lord, my learned friend referred para 15 of this matter. The para 15, it's not that we have not provided the hearing. We have considered the hearing. We have understood the submissions. The only crux
Sir,
which
it can't happen that way. I mean, either you provide the hearing or you don't provide
No,
the hearing.
we have provided the hearing. The denial which we have made in the OIA is that the documentary evidence which they have submitted are not sufficient enough, because the investigation and the ITC amount involved is huge. And the unearthed amount which we have discovered, that services are not provided, there is a modus involved in this. So just by submitting few samples, few photographs does not substantiate this case, because this case involves thorough, deep investigation. That is why we have rejected the appeal of my learned friend.
So your case is that you granted a hearing.
Yeah.
No, I'm so sorry, my lord. That's why I said at the first instance itself, I would request you to refer to para 12 to 15 per se, wherein if you will see the entire order in appeal is completely based only on the documentary evidences. without giving a personal hearing. Yes.
No, I mean, we are a fact-finding authority. We have to decide on that. But so you show
Absolutely,
from the order. She is saying that para 12 to para 15, the findings portion, the operative part of your Commissioner Appeals order does not mention the fact regarding granting of hearing. On what basis are you making this statement now that you granted the hearing?
No,
What
so
is
on
the-
para 15, we have clearly mentioned that the basis of investigation was which the department had undertaken.
Whether your Commissioner Appeal heard her or not, that is the question.
Yes, we have heard, my lord. That's what I mean. That's what we are saying.
No, show it from the record.
On the para 15 itself, ma'am.
Read.
So we are reading that the order in appeal was passed in favor of department. The OIA mentioned that basis the investigation undertaken by the department, it is revealed that investigation was made under valid authorization and there are valid reasons to form this case. On perusal of the relied upon documents and the documents submitted by the taxpayer in the course of investigation, it appears that there are no enough proof to substantiate that services are actually rendered.
Where does it say that you granted her a hearing?
No, but where is this saying that we are not granted the hearing also?
Once you don't mention it, she does not have to prove the negative, sir. It is for you to prove that you granted the hearing.
So,
you see any order, any adjudication order or any appellate authority order, there is a specific paragraph dedicated to record this fact that a hearing notice was issued and a hearing was granted and a hearing was effectively conducted. Otherwise, you are in violation of natural justice.
My lord, this the whole case is not on this procedural aspect of hearing is given or not. Hearing is given. Okay, we can give you the PH copy. If you can allow me, I can give you
All
the
right, all right. We will peruse the records. We will peruse the records.
We'll produce the records
Yes.
of that.
No, we are indicating our mind that we are inclined to remand this matter, and
My
your
lord,
submission is not.
But my lord, before going to 112, we would also need to speak on the merits of this case. So if you allow me to make my
No,
submissions.
that's what I told you. See, we don't have the benefit of the order of the appellate authority on the documents that she is submitting now. Your appellate authority's order is a very cryptic and non-speaking one. Let him consider all the evidences that she has. Let him pass a detailed speaking order. And if he still disallows, she'll again come back to us. That time we'll hear you. So as of now, we are not prejudicing you. We are only asking for a remand. No, I mean, we are saying that we will remand the matter back. Let him consider the evidences.
My lord, this matter is purely a factual matter.
So
Where
that
we
is
need
all
to
the more reason.
understand.
See, sir, you can't expect a tribunal to go into the document-wise details and verify whether the services were received or not. That job has to be done by the department. So let your officers do that, and then again we'll
The
see.
reason why it was not considered a lower authority, my lord, because these whole documents and the whole evidences are now first time being submitted before us, before the tribunal till OIA.
That is what their case is, that they were prevented by a sufficient cause.
But that is not the case, my lord. That's what we are trying to
how do you
make
say
it
that?
here.
How do you say that? What evidence you have for that?
In the order in appeal itself, we have mentioned.
No, that is okay. Where do you say that one you have granted your order in appeal says what you read out,
Yeah.
that you have considered everything that was on record. She says that she had certain additional evidences to produce before the appellate authority, but since she was not granted a hearing, she could not produce that.
So here, the documentary evidence which they have, they didn't had one. That's what we are trying
How
to
do you
communicate
say that,
here.
sir? How do you say that?
Because we have verified the documents.
How come?
We have
If the
verified that
documents-
they have submitted few photographs. That is what is the factual position of the case also. They have submitted very few photographs, few sample invoice copies saying that credit is allowed, services are provided.
All right. We have noted your argument. We'll consider that. Yeah.
My lord,
Yeah,
just one additional point
Yeah,
that
only
I would
one
like
My
to
lord,
Only one small thing from your side, ma'am. Why is that not a ground in your grounds of appeal? That you were not afforded an opportunity of hearing?
Yes, my lord, oral arguments, if can be admitted, I would also like to highlight Rule 45 and 46 of the SESTAT Procedure Rules 2025, wherein they have said that the additional evidences can be admitted by the court, and that's why we have also provided the affidavit to support. And we would also like to cross-examine the investigation carried out by Messrs. X Limited, because the statements are recorded of Messrs. X Limited. However, for Messrs. Y Limited, the invoice in question is of Messrs. Y Limited. Messrs. Y Limited's statements are not taken on record. Also, the
Madam, cross-examination happens in the adjudication stage. How do we expect cross-examination in appellate forum?
My lord, for Rule 46(2), if you allow me, I would read it.
Yeah, please.
Notwithstanding anything contained in, so sub-rule 1 I'll read and then sub-rule 2. 46, production of evidence by affidavit. Sub-rule 1 says the appellate tribunal may direct the parties to give evidence, if any, by affidavit. Sub-rule 2 says, notwithstanding anything contained in sub-rule 1, where the appellate tribunal considered it necessary considers it necessary in the interest of natural justice,
We definitely
it
have
may
the-
cross-examine.
Yeah, there are enough statutory backings,
No.
but you cannot jump the queue straight away.
But whom you want to cross?
So we would, Messrs. X Limited has provided,
So
the
that you would
statement
have
of X
asked at the
Limited has been.
adjudication stage, no? Did you ask it at the stage of adjudication?
No, my lord, we have not asked at the adjudication stage.
So then how can we grant it to you now?
It is at your discretion, and since considering the interest of justice, if you can allow, we would like to get the cross-examination done.
My lord, so there are two matters right now before yourself. First is whether to remand this matter or want to adjudicate this matter here itself.
No, so what
Second,
we have understood your arguments. See, what we would propose in such kind of a situation is that we'll remand it back to the original authority rather than the appellate authority. Let original authority follow all the principles of natural justice, whatever is provided for under the CGST Act, or even otherwise whatever is required to be followed, and pass a detailed order, and then it can be taken up from there. So this is what we propose to do in this kind of a case. It is not for us to sit and decide and sit in cross. So that is not for this bench to do. Better option would be to remand it back.
my lord, much obliged. But one thing which I want to
Obliged, my
make it an argument here.
Sir, we have closed the file now. Thank you.
Okay.
Obliged, my lord.
Thank you. Thank you.
Serial number 5, Assessee versus Commissioner of CGST.
My lordships, the facts are very simple, sir. ABC Limited is an IT company, and they are into customization of softwares and all that. The moot issue over here is they are having multiple locations across the state, and there are around 3 or 4 branch offices and 1 head office which is at Maharashtra. All the credit has been taken for the third party invoices, that is externally procured services invoices. Credit has been taken at the HO, and for cross charge, and simultaneously it has been cross charged with the relevant invoice at nil value. So these are the limited facts of the case. The period cover is 2018, April 2018 to March 2022. The show cause notice was issued after the investigation by mentioning the points that cross charge has not been done on the common expenses. The SSE has failed to distribute the common expenses either through cross charge or ISD. The SSE has not provided the invoices, and circulars which were issued 199 and which I will be referring to are only for the internally generated services. These were the 4 grounds on the basis of which the show cause notice was issued. All the relevant submissions and everything was done. OIO confirmed the demand by saying that no relevant document was submitted, that is, no relevant invoice was there for verification. Thereafter, we went to the appeals, and the Commissioner Appeals held that after due verification of the documents which was submitted at that point of time only, earlier only, the circular says that it is for the internally generated invoices only, and hence the valuation method is incorrect, and hence you are liable to pay the tax. So show cause was issued for 3-4 line items: cross charge not done, ISD cross charge not done, no invoices, and circular is for internal. OIO was passed saying that there was no invoice produced before us, and OIA was passed that invoices are correct, but it is the circular is only for internally generated services. So in our case, my lordship, first on the merits, I would like to state that, sir, in this case...
So before that, are these services your internal generated costs or third party?
No, sir. The matter under litigation is only with respect to common expenses that are procured externally.
Okay.
So, my lordships, the first of all, the show cause technically we need to go only to the OIO, what the OIO is trying to convey. And the OIO is just saying that the on the base, they have confirmed the demand on the basis that the circular is only for internally generated services. So for the time being, I will discuss only that only.
You may please.
So sir, the circular 199, which I have also submitted in my synopsis, it says that the services procured from third party should either be routed through ISD or through cross charge, any of the ways. And then the circular clarifies that if in case of externally procured services, what needs to be done. It says either you can cross charge it based on the valuation provisions rule 28 and according.
So how do we straight deal with the allegation that the circular is only applicable to intrinsically generated services and not to external services which have been procured from a third party? That is what the crux of the case is.
What is the crux of the case?
So let us deal with that submission straight away.
Yeah, so I am on that submission only, exactly. So what the circular tries to say that I am trying to convey, so based on that probably I may try to this thing. The circular first says only with respect to the external, the point number 1 in the circular is with respect to externally procured services that can be cross-charged, and the cross-charge can be done through as per the provisions of rule 28. Thereafter it goes to para 2 and 3, which is categorically talking about that in case of internally generated services in the table, it says that you can follow the valuation mechanism, and in case if the value is on the invoice is nil, then it can be considered as the open market value as per rule 28. Or if there is no invoice at all, then also there is no issue and it would be considered as good case as cross charge, subject to the position that ITC is eligible to the recipient, full ITC is eligible. In our facts of the case, ITC is fully eligible to this thing. So my humble submission is, sir,
please show us in the circular.
So circular 199.
Please show us in the circular.
Yeah.
The point which the department is trying to put upon, that the proposition which you're trying to lay down of valuing your services at nil is not applicable to a third party procurement.
So that's what I need to show you.
Point number 2 deals with the nil valuation based rule 28 proviso. Fair enough. With a condition. And it highlights that these are for intrinsically generated services.
Correct.
Para 2 begins with that only in respect of internally generated services. If we were to give any regard to a circular, this would be, you need to convince the bench how the nil valuation which is prescribed here in the circular in para 2 is also applicable for the one which are listed in para 1 of the circular.
So first of all, this para 2, which is for internally, and that nil value is applicable to externally procured services also. My lordship's rule number 28 of the valuation provisions categorically says that the value of supply of goods or services between distinct persons other than through agent, the value shall be the open market value of the supply. And the second provision says that where the recipient is eligible for the full input tax credit, the value declared in the invoice shall be deemed to be the open market value.
Yes.
So any value declared on the invoice shall be considered as an open market value. So in our case, we have issued the invoice at a nil value, which is a good case falling under this particular provision and vis-a-vis read with this circular.
No, we have understood your argument. Did you take this plea before the appellate authority? What are his findings on this?
My lordships, we had taken this plea in the earlier grounds also, and at that point of time, the OIO passed the order by saying that there was no relevant documentation supported.
Okay.
And then after, again we reiterated our submissions, whatever were there in the show cause notices. In the OIA, they said that the invoices are there, but it does not fit into that circular 199 because circular is for internally generated services only.
Now, what is the finding on Rule 28?
So they are silent on that. OIA is plainly on the mentioning that no internally generated invoices, it is for the internally generated invoices only, and hence valuation method is incorrect. The OI is talking plainly about that particular ground.
Now coming to Rule 28, yeah, that would kick in if the conditions of that proviso are satisfied, which means that the person should be eligible for full ITC. So, is there any?
There is no demonstration.
There are no demonstration from either
precisely
side
my case.
that were there no reversals in the GSTR 3B returns.
My Lordship,
for that particular person, for the particular SSE, there have been no reversals, no exempt products, or nothing.
So yeah, there was nothing, and
Because,
during the investigation stage.
Absolutely, the objective of the legislature is to protect bona fide distinct persons in such cases when the entire issue is that of a revenue neutral. Probably they borrowed the concept from those line of decisions, which says that if there is a revenue neutrality, there is no need to invoke a larger period of limitation. Some courts have in fact given judgments on the merits of the matter also. So maybe it relates to that.
So I'll come to that. So
please.
I have taken that ground, but earlier, since what was there in the OI, I was trying to defend only that particular.
No, sir, the simple question what remains for the consideration now is that how do you demonstrate that you were entitled to full credit at the recipient unit?
Yes.
That is the only question.
Yes, definitely, sir. So at the investigation stage, that was already demonstrated, and hence the show cause does not cover this point that there was no credit eligible to the SSE. The show cause is plainly on that no cross charge is done, no ISD is done, nothing is done, no invoices are there for cross charge. If that would have been the case, they would have LSD.
Yes, we have understood. Sir,
My Lordship, my
you need to clarify only on one point, that how do you prove that they were not entitled to full credit at the recipient unit bus?
Madam, my Lordship, neither the SCN nor the OIO has any precise finding on the fact that the compliance by way of which they are harping upon, that nil value, they should have been supported by way of some kind of financial documents also, which will make sure that the case is covered under the proviso to rule.
You show the bench the findings of the OIA. How has your appellate authority dealt with this?
No, OIA has merely rejected the valuation mechanism. They have not made a precise finding that because you have not presented any proof, that's why we are not inclined to give the valuation benefit.
See, these are the transactions between distinct persons. That is not in dispute. Rule 28 application is not in dispute. Only point in dispute is that how do you say that they were not entitled to full credit? If your order does not say that, then your case fails.
But my Lordship, my order does not say that. I would put it this way, that the order has merely rejected it because it was the duty of the appellant to come forward and note the compliance.
That is okay. He said that he has done that. How have you dealt with it?
My Lordship, there is nothing, no finding on record.
So that is your deficiency, sir, in your order. The deficiency is in your order if there is no finding in the order.
No. There is no finding on record from their end. They have stated that they have submitted nil invoice. By mere submission of nil invoice, how can we satisfy the condition of mentioned under Rule 28?
Sorry, what is nil invoice, sir?
They have, if you will refer to the facts of the case, while filing reply to the show cause notice, for ensuring compliance, they have only given nil invoice. With nil invoice, they should have given some kind of supporting to prove that the
No, sir. Nil invoice is the value of transfer.
I understand.
Transfer.
Yes.
That is not in dispute now. We are only questioning that the recipient unit, whether it was entitled to credit or not. What is your finding on that? That is a simple question.
They have not given any proof and we have not done any finding on it.
My Lordship, the same problem is with the show cause OIO and OIS.
So my Lordship, the better interest would be that it could be remanded.
No. See, it can't be. We can't improve your case at this stage. If what he is saying and what you are agreeing to, there was no allegation to this regard in the show cause, and there is no finding to this effect in the order in appeal, we can't create a new case for the department at the tribunal level now.
Absolutely.
We have to allow it.
Now they cannot remand back the matter and then tell us, now you prove that the recipient were eligible to take the full
We
ITC.
note your submission. Then there is one small point. Your show cause notice says that in point number B, that it has to be either through the cross charge or through the ISD mechanism. It cannot be both. Like the show cause notice is the foundation of the case. It has to be very, very specific.
Crisp.
Specific to the point, and it cannot be like assumptions and presumptions or A or B or C or D. So,
My Lordship, I am
yeah.
with you on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We note your
Obliged.
submissions. Thank you so much.
Serial number 6, Assessee versus Commissioner of SGST.
Your Honor, I am representing SSE who have entered into a development rights agreement. So basically the facts are that I am a builder. There is a landowner who has granted me development rights in April 2020. Against that development rights, I have agreed to provide him certain area share, which is 35% of the constructed area. I will transfer it to him. So this agreement was dated April 2020. The construction went on, and we have given them the required area share as per the agreement. Now the demand is on two grounds, Your Honor. First is that I have not paid any GST under RCM as alleged by the department on the development rights which I received from this.
You are representing whom, sir?
The builder, Apex Construction
You are the
Private Limited is the promoter builder. Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
okay.
And the landowner has given me the development rights.
All right. Before
Okay.
you proceed, your note refers to joint development agreement, and you said development right agreement. So is there any fundamental difference between joint development and development
Technically,
agreement?
no, Your Honor. Joint development is the loosely worded term for a development rights agreement. Basically, whenever a landowner is granting development rights to a builder, see, it's JDA. If you see Circular 151 also, they refer the term JDA, Joint Development Agreement, which is the standard practice in the industry whenever a landowner grants development rights to a builder. They call it a joint development agreement. But technically, all the work in this is done by the builder himself.
My lord, I would like to disagree if you allow me.
Madam, we'll give you a turn.
We'll give you
All
enough
right.
opportunity.
So, Your Honor, now the demand is on account of two grounds. One is the development rights which I have received
Before
from.
you go to the demand, in your case, you explained that it is revenue share. The landowner will get certain constructed area from the builder, right?
Correct.
What happens if there is a revenue share, not a construction area share, but a pure revenue share, where the builder is entitled to sell the entire area, and then out of the revenue generated, he gives a part of it to the
Landowner.
developer, to the landowner. Whether that would be a JDA then, going strictly by the words used. If it is joint development, and if promoter is developing it and giving constructed area to the landowner, then they might say that land constructed area is the consideration for the development rights. But if we put it to you the other way around, that the developer is selling the entire area. There is no area share given to the landowner. Developer is selling the entire area, and then certain portion of that revenue generated is given to the landowner. Then will that make any difference according to you?
As far as taxation is concerned,
Yes.
yes, because there is one less leg of transaction of supply. Because in case of area share, there is a supply which is happening of providing construction services as alleged by the department. In case of revenue share, the transaction is happening in money. So there is one lesser leg of supply which is there in the transaction.
So if we categorize maybe a revenue share kind of an arrangement as a joint development, then your case is a pure development agreement where you are giving constructed area.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. All right. You can proceed.
So now I was coming to, there are two demands made on me. One is on the development rights which I have received from the landowner. On that there is a demand of 50 lakh rupees. And then the second demand is on account of construction services which I have provided. Basically the 35% area share which I have given to the landowner. On that the original demand was 3.5 crore rupees, which was dropped to 1 crore rupees by the appellate authority, by the first appellate authority.
On what ground?
On the valuation basically. Yeah, I'm not going into that because that is now 1 crore before your good self.
Department is not into an appeal against that.
No, no appeal has been
All
filed.
right.
Now, Your Honor, now coming to the first issue with respect to demand under RCM on the development rights which I have received, I'll just present Court Master. ये दो बेंच के लिए ये मैडम. Your Honor, if you turn to page 46 of my compilation which I have just submitted to you. This is notification 5/19, which amends notification 13/17, which is the principal notification for levying tax under reverse charge mechanism. Now, if you see, the entry says services supplied by any person by way of transfer of development rights or FSI for construction of a project by a promoter, and the tax is payable under reverse charge mechanism by the promoter. So on this basis itself, the demand has been raised on the appellant assessee before your good self. Now, Your Honor, this issue has been dealt with by Honorable Bombay High Court in the case of Srinivas Realcon. And if I may bring your attention to page 1 of my compilation. This is the judgment of Honorable Bombay High Court. And on page 2, Your Honors, the High Court have interpreted this very same RCM entry. If you see, there is a table in serial number 3, and then there is observation below that in para 4. Para 4 of this order, Bombay High Court order.
Yes, you may proceed.
Yeah, Your Honor. Yeah.
Please proceed.
Yeah. A perusal of the language of entry 5B would indicate that it relates to services which can be said to be supplied by any person by way of transfer of development rights or FSI for construction of a project by a promoter. The expression transfer of development rights read in conjunction with FSI is indicated in entry 5B would only relate to a TDR, transferable development right, as contemplated by clause 11.2.2 under the regulations for grant of use of TDR in Unified Control UCDR so and so, which defines transferable development rights to mean compensation in the form of floor space index or development rights which shall entitle the owner for construction of built up area subject to the provisions of the said regulations. It therefore follows that TDR FSI as contemplated by entry 5B cannot be related to the rights which a developer derives from the owner under the agreement of development for constructing the building for owners, in lieu of the owner agreeing to permit the transfer of developer or to transfer certain built up units for consideration to be appropriated by the developer. In just one more para, Your Honor. In the instance case, the agreement dated so and so is an agreement of development entered into the petitioner and the landowner in terms of which the petitioner has been granted right to develop the property in question by utilizing the present FSI or any increases thereof. Mr. Nayak learned senior counsel upon instruction submit that in execution of agreement dated so and so, no TD or FSI has been purchased by the owner or for that matter by the petitioner from any person, entity, whomsoever. This is exactly identical to what my development agreement also, and this is typically, Your Honor, all the development agreements which you will see are on the similar lines. So, Your Honor, my first argument is that the tax, if any, is not under RCM by virtue of the observations of Honorable Bombay High Court. It should have been under forward charge mechanism on the landowner, if any. Alternatively, Your Honor, I may rely on certain judgments of Gujarat High Court, GIDC, and
that we are
completely
aware of.
Yeah. So, just to briefly touch upon that, these are benefits arising out of land, and GIDC, Gujarat High Court, has held that it being an immovable property cannot be subject to tax outside the purview of tax.
Only one query.
Yes, Your Honor.
The para 12, para 4 that you read,
yes,
that is under Unified Development Control and Promotion Regulations. And you are based in Bombay, so you would be governed by DCPR 34.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you compared the provisions of conveyancing as per this 11.2.2 and what is under DCPR 34?
Your Honor, this is also UDCPR rule for state of Maharashtra itself. In that, the word TDR and FSI has been.
Your FSI, the FSI which is under dispute in this case, is governed by which regulation? DCPR or this regulation?
So, Your Honor, DCPR grants me additional FSI when I am constructing and redeveloping. In that case, I will be granted additional FSI. Over here, this is not a redevelopment. This is the land of the land. This is not a society redevelopment or a slum rehabilitation redevelopment where I am getting an additional FSI under DCPR 2034. So, all this will be covered by this UDCPR when I am getting the FSI. My submission is that when the Honorable High Court has considered this, what they have considered is that the term transferable development rights under the RCM notification is covered. That will cover only the pure cases of FSI transfer, right? The sale of FSI. When we go into the market as a builder, I can buy FSI.
Paper TDR.
Right. And not a development rights agreement. So that is exactly what the High Court has held, and which is identical to my matter if you see the development agreement which is attached to my appeal memorandum.
All right. Now the second point.
Now on the second issue,
Output
Your
side,
Honor,
yes.
construction services which I have provided to the landowner. Your Honor, I would like to rely upon the judgment of Vasantha Greens, which is a service tax judgment. I am sure Your Honor must be aware. Basically, when I am constructing these premises for the landowners, the cost of that I have embedded in my cost of the final product which I am selling to the outsiders. And I have also arranged for a CA certificate, if you see on page 60 of my compilation which I have just handed over. And that has been confirmed by a chartered accountant. And not just Vasantha Greens, there is Honorable Mumbai Sistat ruling in the case of Ethics Infra. There, I have also attached an order in appeal in the case of Yashasvi Builders, which has been accepted by the department. They have not challenged it further. So, Your Honor, my argument on that is that as the tax on the final output which I have sold in the market has been subject to tax, this being an intermediate product, and the cost of that has already been embedded in that, so there cannot be any dual taxation on that front.
Understood. Now,
and lastly,
sorry.
Yeah, Your Honor. Lastly, I am on limitation, Your Honor, on both the issues. If you see para 4F of the appellate authority's order, it has been mentioned that limitation, my plea on limitation has been discarded on the ground that I have not shown this transaction in the returns. My humble plea, Honor, there is no such column in the returns to show these transactions, which Supreme Court has also upheld that if there is no such column, there cannot be any suppression.
Understood.
And all these transactions are available in my books of accounts. In fact, Your Honors have time and again held that when the transactions are shown in the books of accounts, then there cannot be suppression. So, Your Honor, I am on.
We are not aware of any such judgment, but anyways.
Your Honor, it's your judgment. Ace Computers.
Yeah, all right.
So.
Okay. Anyways,
my lords have time and again held that there cannot be suppression in such cases.
Only two questions. What is the current status of Srinivasa Realcon and Vasantha Green?
Your Honor, Vasantha Greens is...
You got to...
Yes, I would like to, but once...
Yeah, Vasantha Greens is pending before Honorable Supreme Court since a long time. But relying on Vasantha Greens, there are various...
Any stay from the Supreme Court on Vasantha Green?
No, there is no stay as far as I know. I am not sure, Your Honor, if there is a stay. I am not sure.
What is the status of Srinivasa Realcon?
Srinivas Realcon, Your Honor, I think department has gone into appeal. And again, there is no stay as far as I am aware. You may correct me if I am wrong.
All right. So that's all?
That's all, Your Honor.
Only four clarifications from your side. See, first you need to explain that whether the facts that is stated are those correct or not. Secondly, are these judgments which is relying upon applicable to this case or not? And what is their status? Only three things we want to understand. Yes, please.
Right. So with respect to the facts, I would like to highlight that this is a joint development agreement. If you see para number 2 of the submissions.
So first, would you like to highlight what is the difference between joint development and development?
Yes, joint development agreement, the roles and responsibilities of both the parties are defined clearly. And in case of a development agreement, it will be like, okay, one party is entering into an agreement with other. There may be, so basically joint development agreement is when there is a common consensus goal, which is being, they are trying to achieve through the inclusion of two parties. And the roles and responsibilities of both the parties are defined so that ultimately that final goal is achieved. Which is unlike the other redevelopment matters or my friend learned AR.
It's slightly hard to believe because in all the development agreements, both sides will have some roles and responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So then everything could be a JDA.
However, the intention is common. So basically, in JDAs, it is joint development agreement, as the name itself suggests, that they are jointly developing the property between both of them, and ultimately one common goal is being achieved by both of them.
All right, you may proceed.
Yes. My lord, only 2-3, if you allow me.
Yes, please.
Okay, on the count of first argument that my learned AR has taken, that this entry 5B of notification number 4 by 19 is not applicable to us, 5 by 19 is not applicable to us. We would like to highlight, if you read the actual text of that particular notification itself, it says transfer of development rights. We are very well aware there are various Supreme Court decisions to state that none of the words can be added or reduced from that, and therefore transferable development rights are not included in the entry. In this entry, even transfer of development rights is also included in this entry, and therefore in Srinivas Realcon the matter is pending before Supreme Court right now.
No, but we are sitting in Bombay, it's a Bombay High Court judgment, doesn't it bind us?
As I said that there is no stay in the Srinivas Realcon right now. However, considering the matter of the case that the matter is subjudiced.
But do you agree with his submission to that matter of Srinivas Realcon? What he said. And
that is why I am saying that this entire Srinivas Realcon, if you see, sir, the facts of the case are different than JDA.
See, you can't distinguish the High Court judgment. You can distinguish it only on facts.
Facts.
Neither you nor us, we are bound by that.
Absolutely.
The department is also bound by that, the tribunal is also bound by that.
On the facts only, the current position, the current agreement is of joint development agreement. However, Srinivas Realcon was not a joint development agreement, it was a development agreement.
But what difference
so
will
based
it
on
make?
that, we are trying to distinguish the cases.
So what difference will it make to this entry and the ratio of Srinivas Realcon?
The way it was decided.
The para 4 that he read, how does it make a difference if it was JDA or DA?
My lord, if you see, again, there the reference is given to Unified Development Control Promotion and Regulations. As yourself also has pointed out, all the developments in the Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai, the DCPR 2034 are supposed to be referred. All the permissions which are taken by the assessee are under DCPR 2034 and not under.
Have you pulled out any distinct features between the regulations referred to here?
No, my lord, if you allow us some time, we should be able to bring it on record. However, all the permissions which are taken, if you will see, only DCPR 2034 are being mentioned.
I don't think that ratio should change because of that. The ratio seems to be very clear that only paper TDR can be covered under this entry and other TDR will not be covered. So what do you have to say on that?
My lord, as I said, on the strict reading of the entry, it is transfer of development rights also.
See, High Court has read it in a particular manner. Is his submission correct or not? See, both of us can't go beyond the High Court is a clear position in law. Whether his submission that only paper TDR is subject to reverse charge, do you have any objection to that?
Yes, my lord.
No, not objection. I mean the finding of the High Court.
No, finding of the High Court I cannot.
So then what can we do now? What can be done in this case?
My lord,
we can't distinguish the High Court otherwise on facts.
On the facts?
Facts we are not able to distinguish. You are not able to point out any particular clause that why this would be different from our case, why this judgment would be different from our case. And secondly, though you might not agree as a department, you have taken it to the Supreme Court, you take this also to the Supreme Court, then what can be done?
Yeah, my lord, that's the only option. However, as I said, in the facts of the case, we would like to distinguish, if you allow us, on two coins. One, that it is a joint development agreement. Srinivas was never a case of joint development. Secondly, based on the entire para number 4, they have relied upon the TDR, which is defined under Unified Development Control and Promotion Regulation and not under DCPR. These are the two counter.
Now on Vasanta Green part?
Vasanta Greens also, we would like to highlight that if you see, there was 33rd GST Council minutes of the meeting wherein there was a clear intention to levy GST on these TDR transactions. Thereafter, there was an FAQ which was published on 7th May 2019 and also on 14th May 2019 wherein the transfer of development rights have been the intention of taxation.
Madam, this Vasanta Green lays down a proposition of law. As he explained, it simply states that whenever some area is given free, no builder is a fool. He will include it in the sellable area and he will sell. So once the GST is paid on the entire consideration for the sellable area and that includes the other portion, then why tax him again? That is the submission.
My lord, there are two independent supplies under this transaction. First is the transfer of development rights from the landowner to the developer. Another is from developer to the landowner where the construction services are provided.
That is fine.
I appreciate that Vasanta Green and the facts of the case are similar. However, the law has been amended drastically. If you see the service tax law wherein the Vasanta Green was there.
My point is slightly different. What we are suggesting to you is that Vasanta Green is a proposition of law which is independent of any law. It is based on logic. It simply says that once your constructed area covers the cost of free area, then why to levy GST on the free area? There is no law requirement for that.
My lord, if this would have been the case, then in all the transactions, the below chain would not be liable to tax, and ultimately the tax would have been paid. However, under GST law, there is a supply, section 7(1)(a), which talks about barter. And if there is any barter transaction, both of them are treated as supply, independent supplies under section 7(1)(a), and therefore we would like to distinguish.
There is no difficulty on that, madam. We are agreeing to that. The point is that it has already suffered GST. Why tax it again? That seems to be the argument.
No, my lord, on the land development rights also the tax has not been paid. On the construction services also the tax has not been paid.
Whatever construction is done by the builder,
We appreciate.
whatever revenue, whatever share is given to the landowner, when both of them sell it further, they will pay GST. If it
So
is
they
before
will pay GST, but then they have to take the credit. Under the notification number 3/2019, also a mechanism is specifically
All right, madam,
provided.
we have noted your submission. On 74, what do you have to say on section 74? How
Yeah,
does it
on
apply?
section 74, we would like to again highlight that there was GST council minute. Thereafter, there were FAQs. So in case the assessee had doubt on the taxability, they should have definitely, either taken an advance ruling, or they should have consulted with the department to take any position of the court.
What provision permits them to consult with the department? Who answers them?
Advance ruling. The advance
That is-
ruling
that
could
is
have been
the
taken,
only advance
wherein
ruling.
they could
Yes.
have taken in case there was a doubt on
But
the.
then in that case, if we buy your argument, in all cases where there is no advance ruling, you will invoke 74 directly.
No, what I'm trying to say is here, my lord, here the case is different, where there was a 33rd GST council minute where the intention of the legislature was clear. Even there were notifications in 2019, there was a fleet of
Noted,
notifications.
madam. Noted.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Obliged, my lord.
Oblige, ma'am.
Serial number 7, Assessee versus Commissioner of CGST.
Sir, I am representing the appellants. I would like to submit the synopsis and the compilation. This is for the bench, and this is for the DR. If the bench permits, may I mention the facts of the case?
Please.
Sir, the appellants.
We have read the appeal memo.
Okay.
We have reached up to the timelines which are highlighted.
Yes.
That the last of the timeline was 10th of November 2025, including the 1 month period before the Commissioner appeals.
Yes.
You have crossed that and you had filed it on 23rd of November 2025.
Yes.
Which is 13 days probably after that.
Yes.
Okay, you can straight away take us to the findings of the Commissioner appeals.
Okay.
And your submissions.
Yes. So the findings of the Commissioner appeal, as per the order in appeal, is that they have referred to section 104 of the CGST Act, saying that the condonation of delay can be done only after that the normal period of three months plus 1 month. 1 month is provided under 107. That the appeal was filed after the condonable period after that. So therefore, based on that, they have dismissed the appeal which was filed on that
Only
single
one
ground.
factual aspect, he has given you the grace period of 30 days. You mean to say that?
No.
That he is okay with the 30 days delay?
That
part
is
he has
not
condoned?
that is not clear in the
That is not clear
in the order.
Okay.
Only he has said that this it is not filed within time.
Please make your submission.
Yes. My lords, my two submissions I have to make in this. Basically, one is this section 10701 of the CGST Act prescribes a limit of 3 months for filing the appeal. 1074 prescribes additional 1 month if sufficient cause is being provided. So in our case, sir, the cause which we provide, I mean the reason for condonation is that our tax head of the company who is responsible for filing all this was ill and he had to undergo major surgery, and therefore we had provided a certificate, doctor certificate to the respondent that this is the genuine case and please help condone the delay, and the delay is also not very significant, it is only 13 days, so that is a that was provided. Second, my lords, I would like to refer to.
Yeah, you need to back it by a statutory provision or interpretation by a court of law in a particular.
So there are two things I would like to highlight. One is the Limitation Act.
Before that,
yes.
Did you make an application before him?
Yes, sir.
You made an application for condonation before the Commissioner of Appeals also?
Yes, sir.
Explaining all of this?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Sir, the Limitation Act, normally the Limitation Act, the Section 3 provides what is the normal limitation, means the limitation period, 3 years is what is prescribed. Section 5 of the Limitation Act prescribes that.
That is the residuary clause, if we mistake not.
Yes.
So that is not the normal period.
Yes, and there is section 29 of the Limitation Act also, which provides that if you look at the residuary clause, they should specifically provide under the residuary clause that this period will not be considered. So I would request that the respondent has failed to appreciate that section 1074 of the CGST Act does not expressly or impliedly exclude the applicability of section 5 of the Limitation Act. So there is a judgment.
How is your case, first you to show us, how is your case covered by section 5 of the Limitation Act, if at all, to be considered?
Yes. Yes.
Whether to be considered or not, yes, that aspect is there, but how your case is covered by section 5?
To our knowledge, there are many judgments of including Supreme Court which suggest that once a specific statute provides for a timeline, then a general statute like the Limitation Act cannot be referred to.
Yes.
So what is your submission on that?
So sir, the section 29(2) of the Limitation Act specifically says that if you look at the section 29, I would in the compilation page of the judgment, there is part of a judgment which I would be quoting. It is on page 12. Para 18 of the judgment, that section 29(2) of the Act has provided situations where local or special law prescribes a period of limitation different from the period prescribed by the law. It has provided that the provisions of section 3 shall apply as if such period were provided prescribed by the schedule of the Act, and for the purpose of determining any period of limitation prescribed for any suit, appeal or application or by any special or local law, the provisions contained in section 4 to 24, both inclusive, shall apply only insofar as and to the extent to which they have not expressly excluded by the special or local law. So sir, 107 does not specifically exclude this, means if you look at 1074, 1074 does not expressly or impliedly exclude the applicability of the limitation period under section 5. So and there is a sufficient cause also which we have shown, and therefore the learned respondent has not considered that, and we would like to place reliance on the judgment of the Calcutta High Court in case of S.K. Chakrabarti and Sons, where specifically this has been held that section 107 of the CGST Act does not exclude section 5 of the Limitation Act. Delay beyond 60 days can be condoned, 30 days can be condoned if sufficient cause exists. The limitation prescribed under section 107 is not inflexible, and authorities must give an explanation.
Learned Counsel, you have to show us you are covered by which provision of the Limitation Act first. 13 days, beyond 1 year, beyond 1 month, condemnable period.
Yes. So I am saying
some provision of Limitation Act which fits the bill.
Yes. So that is section 5. Section 5.
What is section 5?
Section 5 read with sections 29(2). That if you read together, section 5 prescribes the additional time limit for filing any application or appeal.
It covers what situations? Because every section of it covers a particular situation. Like section 14, I believe, covers the situation where you are before a wrong forum.
Yes.
That is the reason the courts have been liberal in granting you, excluding the delay period. That's the reason. So that
yeah.
If he is able to show me, fair enough. But otherwise, you may please go ahead with your submissions. Meanwhile, you may just see which section covers you under the Limitation Act.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm we are not disputing the fact that the tax head was unwell and unfortunately hospitalized.
Okay.
And I can only sympathize with my learned friend and nothing more than that. Because, Your Honor, time and again, Honorable High Courts and Supreme Courts have held that the Limitation Act will not apply.
Singh Enterprises is what
Singh
you want to
Enterprise, Your
relevant-
Honor.
refer here.
Yeah, and
We
Singh,
noted.
after that, Your Honor, Allahabad High Court has considered Singh Enterprise and the judgment of Calcutta High Court, which my learned friend is referring to. That has been considered in Yadav Steel, again considered by Delhi High Court in Adichem Speciality LLP. Time and again, it has been held that the law, the taxation law having a limitation period is a self-contained code, and you cannot go beyond that. Even with due respect, Your Honors, we are all creatures of this statute, and therefore we cannot go beyond that. So nothing much can be done in this case.
Yes, the law seems to be quite settled. You need to explain that how Limitation Act will apply.
Yes, yes.
Apart from Calcutta High Court judgment, we have seen it seems to be an aberration. It can't be the law. One Supreme Court and other high courts, including Bombay High Court, are there. And we have come across some judgments where even the writs filed beyond the appeal periods are not entertained on the ground of this appeal period.
Yes.
GlaxoSmithKline, you must be aware, and
Yes.
that has been followed by Bombay High Court in a number of cases.
Sir,
So how do we condone this? See, there is a, as what we were discussing, there is a marked difference between exclusion of time and extension of time. So what you are praying for is mixture of both. We can't condone something which is beyond the permissible limits. Even the Supreme Court has refused to condone that. We are still creatures of statute, as my learned friend pointed out.
Yeah, sir,
For
I
your
would like to
benefit-
support
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
I
yeah.
was saying, sir.
For your benefit, we suggest there are Supreme Court judgments on the point that there is a difference, as my brother rightly said, between condonation of time and exclusion of time. So for you to be eligible for exclusion of time, you need to fit into one of the parameters of the Limitation Act at least today.
Yes. Sir, one more, I want to support my argument with one more point, is I would like to refer to one of the special laws which governs this. I would like to refer to the Arbitration and Reconciliation Act. Section 34, if you look at Section 34 subsection 3, which talks about that, so this Section 34 provides for recourse against the arbitral reward and prescribes the procedure and time limit for making an application for setting aside the arbitral reward. If you come to my synopsis, page 5, I have reproduced the Section 34.3, and in that the Section 34.3 reads that an application for setting aside may not be made after 3 months having elapsed from the date on which the party making the application has received the arbitral award.
Sorry.
If a request has been made under Section 33 from the date on which the request has been disposed of by the arbitral tribunal. Proviso again says, provided if the court is satisfied that the applicant was prevented by sufficient cause for making the application within the said period of 3 months, it may entertain the application with a further period of delay of 30 days, but not thereafter. There is a word mentioned that not thereafter. So I would like to emphasize on that. Similar wording is not there under 1074 of the CGST Act.
We take note of that submission. Okay, there are, yeah. There
Not
is
be able to overcome Singh Enterprises. That is the only difficulty.
Yes.
There are two kind of Supreme Court judgments on this point. One is clear that there is no condonation of delay beyond the statutory period which has been prescribed. The other is where a different view has been taken. They suggest that this is not condonation of delay, this is exclusion of time based on a comprehensive reading or a harmonious construction of various special laws, including the Limitation Act. So you need to see where you fit under which provision of the Limitation Act for it to be put into picture in this case. So that is what.
Right. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
We grant you adjournment of time. Okay, today's matter stand adjourn. You may please
Thank
find
you.
out.
Your Honor, my humble request, this is a settled case. There is no question of adjournment, Your
No,
Honor.
we are adjourning the matter. It is not settled. That's what we said. You may read MP Steel Corporation. You may read other line of decisions on the proposition of exclusion of time versus condonation of delay. So there are Supreme Court decisions otherwise also.
Your Honor, after Singh Enterprise, nothing is left. My humble plea, you may please decide this case today
On the
itself.
next occasion,
No, no.
let him research.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
the next occasion,
both
distinguish
of,
Singh
Sure,
both
sure.
of you research and come back.
Sure.
The matter
Thank you.
stand
Much
adjourned.
obliged. ma'am.
Yeah,
Obliged,
thank
my
you.
lords.
Serial number 8, Assessee versus Commissioner of SGST.
Sir, we will give you only 5 minutes. It's already 5:30.
The case is kind of that only, my lord.
Yes, sir.
We are surprised nobody is taking any time in the matter. Like everybody is well prepared. We don't often see this in the courtroom to happen. Half of the matters are actually taken time, or the court suo motu grants time. Like, so yeah, a very well behaved, disciplined, decorum courtroom. Please go ahead.
My lord, so allow me to submit the facts of this case. So it's a detention case where my goods have been detained of the appellants, and the penalty has been levied under section 129. Now we are filing this appeal to say that penalty is not leviable because there is no tax evasion.
What is the offence?
The offence is that there is no e-way bill and there is no e-invoice being generated along with the goods, along with the invoice. Invoice has been rightly generated. It has all the values, everything, taxes have been paid in 1 and 3B. The only matter is that there is no e-way bill generation and there is no e-invoice.
So only proceedings under 129, no penalty under 122.
So they have levied penalty under 122 as well as 129.
All right.
Okay.
Please make your
So our facts are our submissions are very simple, saying that there is no tax evasion because it's not a case of that there is a wrong invoice. Invoice is right, because at the time of detention there was no such in the order being stated that the goods are misclassified or the values are different in considering what invoice has been mentioned, and so invoice is correct and the taxes have been paid.
So you are not disputing the fact that in your case e-invoice had to be generated?
Yes.
And e-way bill also had to be generated?
Yes, we are not disputing.
But you have not generated that. That is an undisputed fact.
Yes.
Your only case is that you have paid the GST,
Correct.
and therefore there cannot be no evasion.
And we have a reason, my lord, that why e-way bill and e-invoice was not generated, because it was a system malfunction. Our IT team was not able to generate the e-way bill at the time of generation. We had a malfunction from our internal IT team, and this have been also stated in the show cause reply. But still, this has been not considered.
What was the problem? Malfunction was where?
So the malfunction is in the system.
In GST system or your system?
In our system.
All right. Okay.
So that was the reasons behind that we were not able to generate it, and that is why we have submitted this fact at the time of show cause also. But this has been not considered. So our very limited case is that there is no tax evasion.
Understood, sir.
And we have judgments in place of Satyam, where it is clearly said by the Supreme Court itself that in cases of no tax evasion, penalty cannot be levied. Himachal Pradesh High Court also in Kunal Aluminium has said that to levy penalty in such cases, mens rea is important, intention to evade is important.
You have any judgments on 129?
Yeah, we have, my
Which
lord.
one?
Kunal Aluminium has on 129, which clearly says that without any malified intent or revenue loss, a penalty under 129 cannot be
And
levied.
what about 122?
On 122, my lord, we have one more argument which we need to say it here, that there is just one the contravention, that e-way bill is or e-invoice is not generated. But our learned friend, in the order, they have levied two types of penalties. One is 129, one and 122 both. So for one cause, there cannot be two penalties.
There are two causes, no, sir. I think from what we understood, there are two causes. 129 applies for non-generation of e-way bill. 122 will apply for non-generation of e-invoice.
But at the same time, my lord, the penalty which they have levied, they have detained the goods, saying that the supporting documents are not in place. And that is why they have levied 129. So we are not contesting, trying to say that the procedure adopted under 129 is wrong. We have we have done this procedure.
No,
we have paid the
129 we can understand.
We have released the goods.
You told us those judgments, 129.
Yeah.
How do you overcome 122?
So my lord, what we are saying is that in such cases, penalty should be levied under 122(1)(14), wherein the penalty should be 10,000 or the tax evasion. In this case, there is no tax evasion, and that is why we are okay to close this order and by paying and agreeing to a penalty of 10,000.
But does it say tax evasion or tax amount?
Tax evasion, it says.
Just read that 14. All right. In the meantime, sir, you can proceed with your arguments. So there is no dispute on the facts. Please restrict your arguments only on the point. He seems to be on a very narrow point that once there is no evasion of tax, there cannot be any penalty under 129 or 122. That is what his case seems to be.
Yes. Sir, my humble submissions are that both the e-invoice and e-way bills are mandatory prerequisites. Both they have to be generated, and that is applicable to them, and they are mandatory prerequisites. There is no exemption or that is applicable to them. Both are mandatory. absence of these documents have specific penalties, or absence of not following this procedure have specific penalties under different sections of this the CGST Act. Both the penalties are independent of each other. They are not that one offence is created, both the offences are created, only one penalty is levied. Specifically, both the provisions are there.
Yeah, quickly.
Yes, and my lords, only last submission, means single submission, I would like to say there have been Supreme Court judgments which says that if law requires something to be done in a particular manner, it must be done in that manner. And if it is not done in that manner, then there is no, you cannot say that if the assessee has not done in that manner, then it is different from the existence of the law.
What do you have to say on evasion of tax? His point is only restricted to that since there is no evasion of tax, I am not required to pay. Whatever is to be done is required to be done.
Yes.
Then you impose a residuary penalty. Why are you demanding a tax which is under 129 twice the amount of the tax, and under 122 which is equal to the tax?
Yeah. So, sir, the penalty prescribed under section 129 is mandatory penalty which has to be levied. There is no discretion given in
that. He is
that.
referring to some judgments which says that mens rea is required for 129. There are some High Court judgments to that effect.
No. So, sir, penalty prescribed under the GST, the 129 section, is a mandatory penalty. There is no discretion given to
That we note your submission,
yes.
sir. I am just asking you a separate question, that how do we deal with those judgments then? Those judgments seems to suggest, which we have also seen, that under 129, if there is no evasion, then penalty cannot apply.
Sir, evasion, how do we say if there was no evasion? Because if they have not generated the invoice,
He is
there is
saying
a...
no, he has paid the tax.
I would like to
Only
clarify
evaded
here,
is
my
not-
lord.
So, sir, it is only after the detention has happened, then they paid the tax, sir. Before that, how do we assess that there was no evasion?
So, my lord, here I would just like to conclude two things. First of all, I would just read down 122. In this such cases, penalty applies only under one clause, which is 122(1)(14), which says that in such cases, any person who transports or any taxable goods without the cover of documents, as may be specified. So these cover of documents are e-waybill and IR. So there is only one clause where the penalty can be. 120 subclause 1, clause 14.
No. What does subclause 1 say? Of 122.
Where a taxable person who transports any taxable goods without the cover of documents, as may be specified in this behalf, shall be liable to pay.
No, one clause says that you have to issue invoice, no? The first one. Supply of goods without invoice.
Yeah.
So this is without invoice, no?
So this is invoice. So that's what we are saying. The invoice is right. Our argument is that invoice is not wrong.
You said you did not generate e-invoice, no?
E-invoice is not generated and e-waybill is not generated. Those are the supporting documents we are trying to say.
If e-invoice mandatory applies to you and you don't generate an e-invoice, then paper invoice will not suffice the condition or the requirement under law.
But my lord, we have the physical copy of the tax invoice which has been given to the recipient, and which is also as forming part of the rules, wherein we are generating this invoice in triplicate forms. So
all right.
So I will just like to read which you were asking before, that liable to a penalty of 10,000 or an amount equivalent to the tax evaded. Our humble submissions are, my lord, that we have paid the taxes and the recipient is also agreeing that he has received the goods. We can do a CA certification also in this case. Our books of accounts includes these invoices and these transactions. So there is just no tax evasion.
Let us put one question to him. Sir, only one point. He is saying that he has paid the tax, he has issued physical invoice. Can you show us a provision which says that e-invoicing is mandatory and physical invoice will not suffice?
Sir, the rule 48(4), the rule specifically says, I'll just...
All right, you can...
My lord, just one thing to add.
It specifically says that e-invoice is mandatory. If e-invoice is not generated, whatever document is not valid, for that document has to be uploaded on the portal.
No,
and an IRN and a QR code has to be generated, and then only that document is valid. Unless you don't quote that in the document, it is not valid. So therefore, this invoice is not valid only. Therefore, that penalty is levied.
Yes, understood. Okay. Only
So just last thing. Even though if we say that the invoice is not valid for the sake of argument, again the penalty should be restricted to 10,000 rupees only, because that is what the penalty says. It cannot be tax evasion, because as we have submitted.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we are done for the day. Somebody can make the closing remarks. Yeah, sorry, my Friend is asking if any questions are there, we can take them now.
Any questions from the audience?
Sorry? Sorry, sir?
Sorry, can you pass on the mic?
Sir, what appears to be the position of law currently is, under section 129, Allahabad High Court and other high courts have held that if there is no evasion of tax, 129 penalty will not apply. So that is one issue which is more or less settled now. The second issue regarding non-generation of e-invoice, in my personal view, there is no judgment to this effect, but in my personal view, that is non-compliance with the provision of law, and it would attract a penalty because issuance of e-invoice is mandatory. Issuance of a physical invoice will not suffice that requirement. But there is no precedent which I have currently to support this.
Okay, on that note, I'd like to congratulate to the entire team, entire panel who had an insightful and an engaging discussion. For all the participants out here, spending your Sunday morning, afternoon and evening with this knowledgeable panel. So a big round of applause for the entire team who had presented it so executively. And obviously the time they have spent in courts is the experience which they are sharing with us. So a big round of applause for the entire team, and we thank you on behalf of WIRC ICA and hope for many more engaging sessions in future. On that note, thank you very much.